Hello.
And welcome
To Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey.
And I'm Max.
And this is the podcast where we tell each other stories. Sort of.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like
stories.
And
stories.
And fairy tales and folk tales and
stories.
And also, you are here. Welcome. If you guys can't already tell, we are recording this late at night.
It's 9 o'clock.
Whoa, past our bedtimes.
Girls gone wild.
We are both topless, which is why this is a podcast not for children. If you're a child, this isn't for you. If you're a parent listening to this thinking, stories for my child. Wow, 80 episodes of stories for my child.
Look elsewhere.
We're about to corrupt your children. You need to leave now.
Plus, they might hear our revealed breasts.
They're gonna hear them flopping. This is the sound they'll make.
Oh God, that's such a bad sound.
Well, mine are metal tipped. Nipples like bullets. So when they hit together, which they do, the nipples specifically.
Mine are full of rice and jingle bells.
So it sounds like this.
Yeah, but also with like a muffled jingle.
You get it. It's sexy, all right? You're all very turned on. And now get ready for some stories. Before we begin, I have to apologize to you guys. I lost my damn mind last week. And I was thinking, I'm going to get ahead of posting these edited episodes. And so I was like, I'm going to get ahead. I'm going to schedule them ahead of time. Like, we're doing good. I'm 3 weeks in advance. I had 78 and 79 both up. And then I scheduled them both to release on the same day. And so like 80 people got episode 78 and 79. And they were like, is it Christmas? Why are we getting 2 episodes? Is this another prank? I got a lot of messages that people asking me before I listened to this, is this another prank? I was like, what? Is what another prank? And I thought they were pranking me. No, I just messed up. So if you're one of the people that got the sneaky little look into episode 79, you're welcome, and that's for you.
And don't spoil it.
Yeah.
This is coming out after 79.
I know, but if you didn't get it 2 weeks ago and you're like, wait a minute, I could have listened to that a week earlier? Maybe you should be faster. Why don't you have us an automatic download? Huh? Subscribe.
I probably should have realized it first thing in the morning because I do have notifications on for our podcast.
I do too, and I didn't see anything about it.
Yeah, I saw episode 78, and then like an hour later I got a notification being like episode 79, but I didn't notice the numbers, so I was like, yeah, I know there's an episode today. I do the podcast.
I'm firing myself.
I
get ready to have Keith on full-time.
Conscripting you back into service.
Ah, fuck. For much lower pay. Max is docking my pay.
I'm the podcast host, and you are the co-host.
And also, I am here. Welcome. Cool.
Any other news?
Yeah, I cut off all my hair.
It looks really good.
Thank you so much. The little sneaky pink in there. Feeling pretty good about it. Max and I basically have the same length hair now.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Do you feel like I copied you?
No.
Because I did. Do I look just like... Hold on, let me put on my glasses. My tortoiseshell glasses real quick.
I had a really weird dream earlier this week because Janey's been talking about cutting her hair.
Yeah, I've been really nervous because I cut off 11 inches, which isn't super long, but it is pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hair.
Yeah, and all at once. I have a whole ponytail just on the kitchen counter.
Horrifying. But I had a really weird nightmare earlier this week. Not really a nightmare, just like a weird dream where Janey cut off all of her hair and she was like, oh my God, Max, it's so great. You should really cut your hair short. It really feels like so freeing. And
Max
I'm like,
please look at the thumbnail. Max has had that hair for her
so
whole
long.
Life, basically. Like
since high school.
Yeah.
And I'm finally growing it out. And so now I have like shoulder length hair. But my weird dream was that Janey cut off all of her hair and she's like, everyone should just do the big chop at some point, you know? Like, Max, I know that you might be afraid, but I really think that it would look good on you. I was like, Janey, I had such short hair for so long. And you were like, yeah, but I'm just like, was it this short? I was like,
it was
yes.
short. It was side shaved. I had a mohawk. I love that your nightmares are just me being super condescending.
It wasn't really a nightmare. It was just a weird detail in a dream that I woke up in the morning and I was like, what the fuck?
Why is Janey such a dick? She spat in my coffee that morning. So
it just felt like you were mansplaining hair to me.
I was. And you know what? One day you'll understand what it feels like to have this short of hair, but it's nice.
In my news,
yes,
I'm on my second week of work. I feel really weird about it because it's really nice, and I hate loving my job because it feels gross.
So weird.
I was talking to someone earlier today, and I was like, it's weird to be like, human beings shouldn't have to work. Money is a construct that has made us worse as a society. Like, we create so much waste, and there is so much wasted potential in the world because of the capitalist system of work. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I'm like, I can't wait to have lunch with my boss.
Yeah. Max works at the university I went to, and it's very fun and very artistic, and it's full of really genuinely great people, and I loved every minute there. But also, it is a money suck, you know? Like, they charge so much money, and, like, everybody's, like, $100,000 plus in debt after they go there, but also it's such a good university, and I'm so excited for you to work there because it's such a good university.
And also I get insurance.
And she has insurance.
Also, I just bought a desk off of Facebook Marketplace that I'm going to refinish. So if you want to see pictures of that in the process, if I remember to do them, join us on our Discord. And you might be wondering, how do I do that? Well, the answer is you have to join us on our Patreon. So if you go to the link in the show notes for this episode, you'll be able to find our Patreon link where you can spend $3 to get access to the Discord.
And all those sweet, sweet desk pics.
It's like a really old, my dad says that he thinks it might be solid oak. It's a really nice old roll top desk that I got so that I can use my computer without thinking about how many cat buttholes have been on it. Because I can just close the desk and no cat buttholes can get on it.
The worms really got to you, Max. You never thought about the
worms will never get to me.
Max took a worm pill.
Also, all of our animals have worms. And also, maybe I have worms, and Janey definitely has worms.
I don't have worms.
Janey, you're all worms.
All worms all the time.
You're like in Pacific Rim, the Jaegers, but being piloted by a bunch of worms.
This podcast has been co-hosted by a bunch of worms in a jumpsuit.
And they're not even getting paid.
They're working for free.
So you can join at the $3 tier, get into our Discord, or you can join at the $7 tier, and you get a full-length, regular old, big, fancy bonus episode every month.
Yeah, and they're very fun, and we like doing them. So
yeah, and they're good.
The last bonus episode, the one for April, was called Monster Croc, The Wiener Takes All. And it is spicy.
It's a good one.
It's a really good one. So please go listen to those. It's very fun. That whole episode we didn't mean to do this, but we both chose African folktales and mythology, and it was very from different parts of Africa too. And I really enjoyed it, like a mini theme.
Yeah,
I talk about a chameleon that keeps showing up in the same dress as a goddess. Embarrassing. So please go join our Patreon. We'd love to have you, and we'd love to talk to you in the Discord. It's a wild community that we love. One of our listeners delivered her first baby. Like, she's
huge congrats.
Huge congrats. Hannah, holy crap. Huge congrats. I was so proud of her. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Hannah...
She didn't have a baby. She's specifically in residency right now. So she helped bring a life into the world. And then she was able to pass that life off to the parents and then fuck off to go drink.
That's the best part.
Congratulations, Hannah.
We don't know if you drink. We cannot establish that necessarily. But
you'll drink some liquid at some point. And hopefully it was a congratulatory one.
Yeah. So, join us on Discord. You want to just tell some stories?
Let's just fucking get into it. You're gonna go ahead and go first.
Am I?
Yeah. Okay. So, goodbye. We'll see you in 1 second. Goodbye.
All right, Janey.
Okay, Max.
Janey, okay. I have a story for you today that's called Fiery Eyes.
Ooh. Should we one day smash cut Fiery Eyes and Red Eyes together?
No.
Okay, well, tell me your story.
I got this story from the collection The Pomegranates and Other Modern Italian Fairy Tales by Christina Mazzoni, which is part of the Oddly Modern Fairy Tales collection edited by Jack Zipes, who is one of my folklore OTP's one true professors, I guess.
I was like, you want to marry Jack Zipes? Like, I love Jack Zipes. I would love for him to come to our house and drink coffee and just tell us stories.
God.
That would be an honor. That being said, I've seen Jack Zipes. I don't think you would want to be
Friends with us?
to him. He definitely wouldn't want to be friends with us. He wouldn't know what a podcast was, and then if he listened to it...
I think he is, like, he's a professor at a university now, and I think he has a podcast.
Jack Zipes has a podcast?
I think so.
Okay, hold on. I'll look this up really quickly.
Please do.
This seems important.
I might be hallucinating, but...
Did you have a dream where I was condescending and Jack Zipes had a podcast? Jack Zipes podcast. An interview with Jack Zipes. Jack Zipes on life as a folklorist.
So he's been on podcasts.
He's been on podcast. He does know what podcasts are. He has been on podcast. He was on Freakonomics.
Ooh.
Guys. Imaginary World?
Jack Zipes.
He was on Imaginary Worlds.
Jack Zipes.
Okay. Shout out to Imaginary Worlds, which is amazing. And Jack Zipes was interviewed on episode 166, This Ain't No Fairy Tale.
Oh my God, I'm going to listen to everything. I'm the huge fan of Jack Zipes. I have like 10 books that he was a part of creating.
It's Jack Zipes and Chenga Baragzalka. Like, honestly.
And Diane Wolfstein for me also.
Diane Wolfstein. Yeah. And those are the ones that are still alive, even though Diane Wolfstein passed away in 2005. I will also put JJ Renault in there. Holy crap, JJ Renault, who made me cry when I found out she had died because I just read her book and it felt like I was sitting in the room with her. That's how personal she had written. Ugh. She had big Karen Kilgariff vibes. I just... Anyway. Yeah, all of these, like, OTPs.
I don't know what to tell you.
I will stop interrupting you now.
Oh, you're good. This story was originally published in 1909 in L'Ultima Fata, which is The Last Fairy, by Cordelia.
Oh, Cordelia.
Which is the pen name for Virginia Tedeschi Treves.
Better name.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Janey, you don't get this, but it made me think a lot about Castlevania and the Tepesh family. Someday I'll make you watch Castlevania.
She keeps saying that, knowing that I won't enjoy it.
You will enjoy it. It's so good. Everyone go on the Discord and bully Janey about not having seen Castlevania, my favorite show of all time, possibly.
This is my most controversial take, I think. I think genuinely my most controversial take. I don't like anime. And genuinely, we might lose listeners over that. Because people are weird about anime. By the way, all of Tinder, in case you have been off the Tinder game for a while, all of Tinder is either white guys holding fish or other guys talking about anime. That's the only thing on there. And they all, for some reason, go to the gym.
Should I tell? It's never going to get back to him. I was like, is it mean to tell this?
Tell this, yeah.
That's a guy who doesn't listen to podcasts by women. I was on Tinder many years ago, and I saw this guy, and he had a bunch of really cool tattoos, and he was like, I play rugby, and I watch anime, and like, I was like, you seem really cool. He made like a bunch of weird jokes in his like thing, and I was like, wow. And he was the first and only person that I super liked in my time on Tinder. Yeah. Because I was like, I really feel like we could be friends.
That was a good match for you, 100%.
Yeah. I was like, this could be really great. And I was like, hey, like, what anime are you watching? Because I've watched like a little bit. Yeah. You know, I've dabbled.
You have.
And he was like, I'm watching this and this and this and this. And I was like, oh, cool. Are those kind of, like, I've watched this and this. Are those kind of similar? And he was like, okay, so you don't watch anime. And I was like, I mean, not all the time, I suppose, but are they like that?
But also, you could very well just be like, if you haven't watched this, you should watch it. Like, give recommendations then, dude.
Yeah, and so I was like, that's a really weird and aggressive way to go about this. Yeah. And so I went back to his profile and I scrolled all the way down. And at the very bottom was a YouTube link that went to his YouTube account of him doing impression comedy and reviewing video games that have been out for upwards of 20 years.
Okay. Well.
And also, he's not good to women. It's like,
and weirdly enough, he hates just women.
Unmatched, block, goodbye. I made a mistake. I could have died.
There is no...
Of embarrassment.
I could have died. There is no... there's no reason to be like that, honestly. Even if somebody's like, I like this, this is what I'm watching right now. If they haven't seen the things you're watching, just a hot tip, suggest things for them to watch.
Yeah. That's
all you have to do. Just like, oh my God, well, if you like that, then you would love this. One Punch Man. That's an anime, right?
That is, and it's a very good one. It is very funny, and I think if it wasn't an anime, you would enjoy it a lot.
The only anime I've ever watched was when I was in middle school. I used to watch Inuyasha after school. It was always on, and my cousin liked it, so we'd just sit there watching Inuyasha and being like, I guess I could get with a guy that had a tail if all the other men had tails and I had no other choice.
Here's my thing.
Yeah. Tails?
No, well, not necessarily, but like, when you say tail, right, there's like a monkey tail, which is like, kind of fine. You know, it has its purposes. But for some reason, my first thought is like golden retriever tail.
That's what Inuyasha has, a big foxtail.
And that's just fur everywhere.
That is.
Just everywhere. It's
Imagine
gross.
getting with a guy that had a tail like Summer. It curls up. That's weird.
Yeah, that would be
It would have
bad.
to hang down, which is like a weird thing to think about, but like it couldn't curl up like a Shiba Inu.
Also, to be clear, with a prehensile monkey tail, I wasn't talking about
Yeah, that's what I was
sex
thinking
stuff.
about. No, it has a purpose.
No, it has a purpose of like holding things.
Yeah. Like your hand
Yeah.
while you make love.
He could be drinking a glass of water and a glass of orange juice and a coffee all at the same time.
And giving you that good lovin'. I might cut all of this. So far, we've talked for 22 minutes about nonsense. I am going to stop interrupting you. Go. It's a late night episode.
Late night episode. So this is Fiery Eyes by Cordelia.
I love it.
Oh, I should also give the preface to this. Cordelia, her pen name. I feel like I can't not say it at this point, but she named her pen name after the daughter in King Lear, who is her favorite Shakespeare character.
God. I watched Derek Jacobi play King Lear in New York, and I don't think I've ever ugly cried like that in public in my whole life. But that play rips your fucking heart out because it's just an old man who was really bad. He was a bad king. I'm so sorry. This is already a tangent, but he's a bad king. And then you watch him go through dementia and become like a child and not understand why the world is treating him the way it is. And at one point, a character gets their eyes ripped out of their head on stage, and it looks so weird. Like, it's so graphic and upsetting, but also there's an old man who's crying like a child and like wants somebody to comfort him and doesn't understand why there's nobody around. And I ugly cried so it was like, but the whole audience was just like, like it was like wailing sobs in the theater. And Derek Jacobi just, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. King Lear is fucking great, and Cordelia is a great character, and she's right. Next episode's gonna be Shakespeare. I'm gonna tell you, King Lear.
Please do. I would love to know. I'm thinking I might do The Tempest, which I've also never read. But
yeah, ooh, fun. I haven't read a lot of Shakespeare.
I've only read Romeo and Juliet, Othello, and
the big ones, Midsummer Night Dream.
Probably. I think I saw Midsummer's Night Dream.
Yeah.
But I've heard really good things about
I saw The Tempest done.
Oh, I saw The Taming of the Shrew, and it was so good. It was in a little black box. Oh god,
it was this cute little movie with
Heath Ledger
and Julia Stiles. I saw The Tempest.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah. I saw The Tempest in a stage that was filled with 2 inches of water. It was a water play.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it was really fucking
That's
cool.
so fucking cool.
It was really cool. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna cut this. Go!
Cordelia, not a good feminist.
Damn it. After all that, Cordy, you let us down.
Yeah, her first publication is about, she's like, actually, women are bad and you should be mean to them. And
is she wrong, though?
Yeah, in the notes for The Pomegranates and other modern Italian fairy tales, they say, like, the first one was not good, but by the end of her life, she thought that women should be allowed to work for reasons beside financial reasons, which I guess is an improvement.
Cordelia, that's not anything. They should be able to work for what?
Now you're just an anti-feminist and a capitalist.
They should be able to work for the economy.
Work is happiness, actually.
Live, laugh, work for fun.
For fun, ladies. Girl boss.
You better work, bitch. Cordelia, non-ironically.
So this story is not, I'm pissed off about it, but it's really good.
Okay. What an intro. Mm-hmm. All of that definitely was a good intro to the story. Now you know what you're getting into.
The Queen of Portugal gave birth to a beautiful little girl.
This is sexist.
Shut up. The Queen of Portugal gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Mm-hmm. And all around her were her family who were so happy about this. Her firstborn, this beautiful baby girl who just came out perfect, right? Okay. And gathered around were all the king's court and advisors and fairies even, Ooh. Including the prickly fairy, who was really rude and everyone fucking hated her. And the prickly fairy said, here is a nice little morsel for the Bear King.
Who's the...
And then disappeared.
Wait a minute, the baby is going to be fed to the Bear King?
Yeah.
I love the prickly fairy.
She's like, oh, that's a good baby. Would sure be a shame if the Bear King ate her. And then fucking disappeared.
I have a hashtag new goal.
Your name on the Discord
should be the prickly fairy?
Yes.
It should be. Oh, new hair, new commitment to names on Discord. I still haven't changed it from Janey Illustration. It's annoying Max.
It's not annoying me. I just think you should.
She has been raging
I don't lie
about
awake
it
at night about it.
She's like, worms and Janey Illustration.
My two greatest fears. So the prickly fairy says, well, isn't this a lovely little morsel for the Bear King? Mm-hmm. And then disappears. And the queen is like, oh my god, like, the prickly fairy has just cursed my daughter to end up with the Bear King, who is a fearsome creature who eats people, I assume. They don't explain it.
It's a bear.
Probably.
We'll assume that even if he doesn't eat people, if he's given a baby, he'll probably pop it in his mouth like a chicken tender.
Chickens indeed. One chicken nugget.
Yeah, one baby chicken nugget.
So the queen is devastated by this. She's like, this is my perfect baby who was literally just born.
Yeah.
And she sinks into a deep depression. And for the first, like, months and years of this child's life, she tries to keep her spirits up. And, you know, she tries to bond with her child and everything. But she keeps thinking about how she's going to lose her baby girl someday. And she doesn't know the rules. She doesn't know what's going on.
The Italians will do anything except acknowledge that postpartum depression is real. This is just postpartum depression, ma'am.
No, it's the prickly fairy promising her daughter to the Bear King.
It's the fact that there's this looming presence of the Bear King wants to eat my daughter like popcorn shrimp.
And so the queen, like, her daughter is like a couple of years old, and she's like, I can't live like this anymore. I've got to find a solution. I've got to find a way to keep my daughter safe from the Bear King. Yeah. So she sets out. She's heard of this great magical force, and this force's name is the Nymph of the Wood. She's supposed to be like this incredibly powerful enchantress, but she's in the middle of the woods that stretch across most of the kingdom, right? So it's a huge space and nobody knows where to find her. She's very reclusive. Mm-hmm. But the queen is like, she's the only person powerful enough to save my baby. Yeah. So the queen sets off into the forest, and she wanders for weeks looking for the Nymph of the Wood.
Has she left her baby at home?
I assume. With care. She does genuinely, like...
she just straight up, like, I'm just sorry. She left her baby, like, she's gonna come back.
It's been a couple of years, but
the Bear King got your kid. He showed up at her kindergarten and said, yes, I'm her father. And they said, no records required. We live in the medieval ages.
The Bear King was the Babadook.
Bearbadook. Go ahead.
Bearbadook. So she, like, wanders in the woods for weeks on end, and she's, like, close to giving up. And then she's sort of walking through the woods and through the mountains and everything. And finally she comes across this donkey in the woods. Yeah. And she is like, hello, donkey. And then, like, keeps walking. And then the donkey brays at her. And he's like, hee-haw, hee-haw. And he points his ears at, like, a little cave off the path. And she understands that this donkey means, in there, that's where the Nymph of the Wood lives, inside of that cave. Yeah. And so she is like, I don't think that the Nymph of the Wood, this super powerful, like, fairy witch, would live in this, like, dank little cave. Mm-hmm. But she trusts a donkey because she's been in the woods for a while.
Why not?
And so she... pulls aside, like, a curtain of moss over the entrance to the cave, and she steps in, and as soon as she steps in, the whole thing lights up, and she sees this palace that shines like diamonds, and the Nymph of the Wood is this woman who is sitting outside of the palace in, like, a crystalline throne, and she's surrounded on all sides by, like, lesser nymphs, you know, sort of like her handmaidens, who all have eyes that burn like coals. They're just these bright, shining eyes, right? And the queen sees this and faints. She's like, what the fuck? Passes out. And in her dream, she hears a voice, which she assumes to be the voice of the Nymph of the Wood. She's correct. And the voice of the Nymph in the Wood says that the nymph will help the queen and will help her daughter, but the queen has to follow her instructions very specifically.
Mm-hmm.
The nymph says that the queen has to go home, and she has to take her daughter by the hand, and she has to walk into the woods, and she has to walk for 7 days. And on the 7th day, her daughter is going to fall asleep on top of a hill, and the queen has to walk away and leave her there.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And that's a tough ask.
Yeah, and she's like, you have to do this, or else the Bear King will get your daughter. You have to leave her, and I will take care of her. And the way that she will come home is that I will make sure that she's safe, and I will send princes and kings and knights towards her. And when she falls in love, she will return to her home as a princess in love, and the curse will be broken, and the Bear King can't get to her.
Okay.
But she has to fall in love before her 20th birthday, because her 20th birthday is when the Bear King is coming for her. The prickly fairy, gave her a heart of stone.
Okay.
So it's going to take someone who breaks into her heart of stone to make her fall in love before then.
Okay.
And she's like, I will send literally every eligible bachelor in the world at her.
With a pickaxe, the way that they, like, break open geodes.
Yeah. And she's like, and, just to make sure she has a little bit of an edge, I'm going to give her fiery eyes, like my nymphs, that are like bright, sparkling eyes.
Men love fiery eyes. You ask any man, like, what do you most cherish in a partner? And they're going to say laser vision.
You know what's really hot to me? Cyclops from the X-Men.
Oh, I can't stop thinking about it.
I just want him to laser my dick off.
Burn my dick! Men.
So saith men.
Yeah. We know how men like. That's why I always carry a Bic lighter. This episode sponsored by Bic Lighter. Burn their dick off.
That's what Bic stands for.
Burn.
Burn is cock.
Burn is cock, my lord. Say it.
We might have to cut this. This might be inciting violence.
Burn is cock. It'll only incite violence in, like, medieval Cockney
world
speakers.
I just need a second.
How can I name the episode Burn His Cock without it being so offensive that we are in trouble?
So the nymph of the wood says, I'm going to give your daughter these beautiful eyes, and anyone who sees them will fall in love with her. Mm-hmm. Or, like, be compelled to love her, basically. Not necessarily, like, go in love crazy about her or whatever.
Sure.
Anyways. So the queen is like, please just take care of my daughter. I will do whatever you say. And the nymph is like, all right, I'll take care of her. You just do what I say. And then the queen wakes up in her own palace.
She doesn't have to walk all the way back. That's
so convenient. What a relief, right? She wakes up in her own palace, and she lays in bed for a while and just doesn't want to get up because she knows what she has to do. And finally, she gathers her strength, and she stands up, and she walks over to her daughter's bedroom, and she sees her daughter, the princess, playing in her room. And she says, honey, let's go. Let's go out to the country together. What do you think?
She doesn't need to do it like this. This is, I've been thinking... She doesn't need to go now. She can wait until this kid is 15 and be like, okay, now she's a teenager. Let's go ahead and do this, because she doesn't need to take a child. If somebody wants to, like, fall in love and marry this child, that's a problem.
Yeah. The nymph of the wood did say, when you get home, you have to do this.
You know what? I think the nymph of the woods is a little bit fishy.
No, that's the nymph of the sea.
The wimp of the woods.
More like the wimp of the woods.
I think you might be a wimp of the woods. Stop trying to set up this child with a man.
It just has to be before she's 20. So, like...
Also, maybe send some princesses in there too. Yeah? Some, like, hot ladies. This wimp of the woods is also sexist and homophobic.
Yep.
I hate the nymph of the woods.
Janey's the prickly fairy.
I am # on Bear King side.
No.
I'm team Bear King.
So, She's like, honey, let's go. We're going to go out to the country for a little while. And her daughter is like, hooray! And like,
oh no,
runs out. And she's just this wild child, right?
I love her.
She just runs around barefoot. And her mom is like, they're like hiking into the woods for a couple of days. And the whole time her daughter is just like jumping over logs and like dancing around and like trying to climb trees. And she's just full of energy. Like, she's like singing and running. And her mom is like, stay close, okay?
Or the Bear King's gonna get ya.
Yeah, this story's weirdly heartbreaking, and also I hate it, and also it's not good, but also it's a little bit good.
I have told 2 stories about little girls having adventures in the woods by themselves. I do like that the mom is with her. I know it's not an adventure, but it's nice that they're walking together and she's playing while her mom is there. Mm-hmm. Am I gonna cry?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
So they walk for 7 days, and on the 7th day, the princess runs up to the top of a hill and like throws herself down on the ground, and she's like, I'm so tired.
No.
And just passes out because she's been running around and dancing and everything, and she is bone tired. And the queen walks up to her and is like, this is what the nymph of the wood said to look out for. And she has to force herself to turn around and walk away and walk back home.
Oof.
Yeah, it's really bad. That got me. The rest of the story isn't as poignant as that, but I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. Because also, I know she technically did see this house and stuff like that. Like, she saw the cage, she saw the nymphs, but she got this information from a dream.
I forgot to say.
Okay.
When she gets home, she sees her daughter playing in her room, and she sees that her daughter now has, like, fiery eyes. So she knows that the nymph has
I was like,
kept her promise.
What if that was just a bad trip? And she just abandoned her. She did an Edward Cullen. Just abandoned her kid in the middle of the woods.
Oof. No, yeah. So she knows that the nymph of the wood is going to keep her promise.
That's so sad.
Yeah, and she just has to leave her daughter there. And so her daughter, the princess, sleeps on top of the hill for a little while. And then when she wakes up, she looks around and she doesn't see her mom. And so she starts calling for her mom. And then a couple of hours pass and she realizes that she's not
abandoned.
Yeah, she's like, my mom must have gotten lost or something. And she just sits down and starts crying. And she keeps crying until it starts to get dark.
Oh, where's the whip of the woods?
Whip of the woods.
Why?
Janey. And right as it's about to become like very dark, a shepherd who lives in a hut nearby comes across this little girl who's just crying on top of a hill alone. And he's like, hey, are you okay? And she's like, I don't know where my mom went. And he's like, okay, well, I live right near here and I can make sure that you have food and a bed and everything. Do you want to come with me? And she's like, yeah, that'd be good. And so he takes her home and he makes her a big bowl of milk and gives her bread. And she eats it all up super fast because she's so hungry and it's the best thing she's ever eaten. And he like talks to her for a little while and he's like, oh no. Oh no. He realizes that something is like wrong. And he's like,
yeah.
And he's like, hey, do you want to stay with me for a little while? And he's a shepherd. He herds cows and sheep. And they're all in this beautiful meadow around his hut. And he's like, do you want to come watch the herds with me? And she's like, well, okay, but only until my mom comes back.
Oh.
And he's like, okay.
It would not be hard to find her mom if this guy wanted to. He just says, who's your mom? And she says, well, she's a queen. And he says, okay. And then he puts her on a donkey and they ride back to the castle.
It is worthwhile to note that they are 7 days walk away from...
Yeah, but how far can you walk in a day? Let me Google.
Is that a challenge?
How far can you walk in it? I'm just
saying, like, it's not like he's, like, right next door to the castle. There are probably also other kings and queens nearby.
Yeah.
And also, when a little girl is like, my mom is the queen, and I'm a princess, and I was left in the woods as protection from the Bear King, might be like, oh no.
Okay, so this says, we're going to say she has a child with her, right? We're going to say she walks 20 miles a day.
Stop doing fantasy calculus. It's fine.
20 miles a day. That means 140 miles away.
That's
a
far.
lot. You're right. That's a lot. Okay. All right. I forgive him. She's a queen. If a little girl showed up and she said, my dad is the prime minister, I'd be like, oh, I'm taking her back to Justin Trudeau. You know?
If you were in Canada.
No, if I was here.
What?
And a little girl said, my dad is the prime minister, I would know, like, oh, you know what? Is your dad Justin Trudeau?
In Georgia?
Yeah. If she showed up and said that, I would be like, cool. We don't have a prime minister here, so clearly
So it has to be the nearest prime minister?
Yeah.
Who isn't nearby at all?
Yeah, she walked here.
From Canada?
Yeah, she's my adopted daughter from Canada. You don't know her. But she's really cool.
No, this shepherd is a good guy. Don't worry. Also, his name is Johnny, but the Italian way,
Gianni.
Yeah, Gianna. But also Johnny, Shepherd Johnny, and he's a nice guy. Don't worry.
Gianna.
Huh?
Gianna.
No, N-I. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I just can't read or spell or talk.
You're doing a really good job, considering.
So, and also, the implication is that the nymph of the woods sent this shepherd to, like, rescue her.
Yeah, okay. I have to consider this is a fairy tale, a magic tale.
And not a true crime.
I gotta get in the right headspace for this.
So he asks if she wants to watch the herds with him, and she says, yes, I will watch the herds with you until my mom comes back. And the next day they go out, and she meets all the cows and just loves them immediately. And she makes, she's a little kid, so she doesn't really help, but every day she goes out and she makes them little, like, flower crowns and garlands and everything, and she's like, you look beautiful.
I love her so much.
I know, she's so cute. And she stays there, and she grows up. She spends her childhood with Shepherd Johnny and his herds, and she loves the animals so much. And they're pretty far away from everyone, so, she spends most of her time just, like, playing with the animals and walking in the woods and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she still has these, like, bright, shining eyes. And so all of the townspeople who are, semi-nearby, who they see sometimes, they start calling her Little Star because she has, like, big old star eyes.
Amazing.
And over time, she forgets. She forgets that she was the princess. She forgets about the queen and the palace. And all she remembers is being Little Star who lives with the shepherd. And she's very happy.
Okay.
When she turns 15, a handsome knight happens to be on an adventure riding past the shepherd's hut.
Mm-hmm.
And she is outside and she's picking flowers for the cows. And he sees her and he jumps off of his horse and he's like, my lady. And she's like, what?
Where did you come from?
And he is just, like, staring enraptured into her eyes. And she says, what do you want from me, staring at my face like that? That's a quote.
Good.
And he says, I want to marry you. And she says, you're not for me. And then she runs.
6. Then she just runs away.
And the knight runs after her and he's like, wait, I'm the son of the king. I really want to marry you. Like,
ooh, no.
Just talk to me, please. And, like, runs after her. But she knows the woods. And so she runs away faster.
Also, don't marry the son of the king.
And he keeps chasing her, and he's not even getting close, but eventually he trips over a tree root and he hits his head, and then he kind of, like, he's, like, dazed a little bit, and he, like, sits up and he's like, oh, what am I doing in the woods? And he goes away.
Yeah.
Because she has declined him, and the nymph of the wood is like, no.
Yeah.
Cool.
No
go
means
home.
no. Also, dork.
You fucking nerd of the woods. When Little Star is 16,
mm-hmm.
a king and his retinue of knights pass through this little village that she lives near on a hunting trip. And they know that he's coming, and everyone sort of gathers in the town to see the king and all of his knights. And
mm-hmm.
they start to march through the center of town. And Little Star, like, runs up because she wants to see all the knights and everything.
Yeah.
And the king glances over the crowd, and he sees her eyes and stops.
Ooh.
And all of the knights are like, what are you looking at? And then they see her eyes and they all
run into
stop.
him.
Yeah.
He stops and they're all just like, traffic jam.
Yeah. And they all just stop and stare at her because she has these beautiful, like, fiery eyes.
Awkward.
Yeah. And she's like, the vibe here is bad now. This just got uncomfortable.
This is a nightmare.
Yeah.
You're at a parade, almost and the whole parade stops, all the music stops, and everybody just turns their heads to stare only at you.
Yeah, this is horrifying.
That's a horror movie.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm gonna go home.
She starts just squinting. She's like, what are we looking at?
She puts on some sunglasses.
Honestly, she should invest in some good sunglasses.
Honestly? And so she's kind of annoyed. She's like, I wanted to see a parade, and now everyone's being fucking weird. And so she turns around to go home. The knights all follow her. They're like, wait, my lord the king wants to speak with you. As a reminder, also, they are on a hunting trip. These are hunters.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Horrifying. This story is very scary.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was written intended to be scary.
No.
But I think it was like, everyone loves her. And I'm like, this is
boys
horrifying.
will be boys. They gonna hunt prey. It's like, cool. Cool. I'm scared.
Yep. So the knights follow her, and she's like, go away. And they're like, but our lord the king wants to speak with you. And she's like, no. And the king is running after her, and he's a little bit slower than the knights because he doesn't have to do physical work for his job.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, I want to marry you. And she's like, I don't want to marry you.
Yeah.
And he says, if you don't marry me, I will kill you.
Oh, well, now suddenly I love you.
And Little Star, at this, she stops where she is running, and she turns around and she glares at him. And he sees her and like steps back for a second and then just topples over in a dead faint.
Yes. Good. Be scared.
Yeah. He is terrified into a faint by her fiery eyes looking at him in reproach.
Good.
And he faints, and all of the knights like gather around him, and they're like, "Our lord the king is dead. We're going to get you, you witch!" And she's like, "I'm going home, bye." And so she runs all the way home as the knights are trying to revive the king. She returns back to Shepherd Janey, her dad. And Shepherd Janey says, "You will suffer many sorrows if you don't finally decide to marry," because he's not that good of a dad.
I mean, he's not. He just kind of found a weird little changeling in the woods. She's lucky he didn't just straight up, like, kill her. She had fiery, glowing eyes, and she was a child crying in the middle of the woods.
Pretty spooky.
She's lucky.
So he's like, you're gonna have to get married if you want things like this to stop happening, kind of, which is a shitty way to think about that. And then one of the shepherd boys who sometimes works with Gianni, he is like out mucking the pit, and he's like, I keep telling her that she needs to get married and she won't listen to me, and she also doesn't want to marry me, and I don't understand why. And Shepherd Gianni is like, probably because you suck, Gerald.
Oh, Gerald.
And he's like, or maybe it's because she's a fucking stone cold bitch with a heart of stone.
Oh.
And Little Star is like, he's right. I have a heart of stone. I've never wanted anything from any of these people, you know?
Oh my God. She's just like the actual definition of a psychopath, where she has no empathy and nothing. And they're just like, she's got a magical heart of stone. But really, she's just like, no, I don't care if you live or die.
Kind of, but also she loves those cows.
She loves the one thing. Yeah.
So the knights, meanwhile, they can't wake up the king, so they chase after her and they get to her house. And they go to arrest her. They're like, you killed the king and you're under arrest. And she's like, no.
You don't have a warrant.
And she just stands on like the front porch of the little hut and is like, no. And she looks at all of them and they all pass out.
Yes, good.
So they're all just all of these knights snoring across the pasture where all of the cows are. Meanwhile,
okay,
time passes. People notice that the knights and the king are not continuing on their hunt. Word gets back to the prince in the castle, the king's son.
Okay.
The prince, I'm going to throw a bunch of curveballs at you really quickly.
Okay.
The prince is in his castle, and he hears that his father, the king, is missing, along with his retinue of knights who had left for the hunting party. He calls on his page boy, who is clairvoyant.
Okay.
And he says, what happened to my father and his knights? And the clairvoyant page boy says, he looks into a mirror and he says, the king and his retinue are asleep in the wood, charmed by the eyes of a beautiful girl. Kind of.
I mean, technically, yes. I'll allow it.
And
okay.
And the prince says, I want to see this girl, because that's the important part of that message.
And also, you can't see this girl. You'll fall asleep.
And then
the fucking Medusa.
And then the page boy says, what if you then also fall asleep?
Thank you, page boy. I agree.
He heard you. He's clairvoyant.
Or maybe I'm clairvoyant. You don't know.
And the prince says, you will not allow it. You will not allow me to be put to sleep by her eyes. And the page boy says, and how will I prevent it?
Yeah, like, what am I going to do? Give you a mirror so that you walk backwards?
And the prince says, you are omnipotent, dear little page boy. Let's go.
You are impotent, little boy. Let's go.
And the page boy is very flattered by this.
Oh,
he is like, oh my God. But he says, if we rescue them from this woman with the beautiful eyes, then you're gonna have to marry her.
Why?
I don't know. It's the rules.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I forgot about the rules.
And the prince says, don't be stupid. Yeah. You stupid, beautiful, omnipotent page boy.
And he slaps him and then gives him a kiss.
I will only marry a girl with royal blood.
I've got great news for him. I hope at the end of this, she and the clairvoyant page boy get it.
Get it?
I don't know why I stopped at get it.
They get it.
They get it. I wanted to say get married, and my brain was like, say get it on. And I was like, I'm not going to say I hope they get it on. So instead
I hope they get some.
I hope at the end of this, she really backs it up. She really show us what that thing do. I hope she make a clap for the clairvoyant page boy.
I'm really excited for clairvoyant page boy on the Discord also.
This is kind of the haircut explained. That I got. I got a little bit of a clairvoyant. Like, honestly, when you go to the hairdresser, please tell them you want the clairvoyant page boy, because that's the haircut I got today.
Like equal parts page boy and fortune teller.
That's what I got.
So also, none of this is explained. Why is the page boy clairvoyant? What does he know? Why is he a page boy if he's clairvoyant?
He's the son of the wind of the woods. Yes.
They have a lot of weird sexual tension in this exchange here.
Okay.
So the prince says, I will only marry a girl with royal blood. And the page boy says, we shall see. Meanwhile, here's my stick. And he hands him a stick. It possesses a virtue that will help you in any circumstance.
Mine too, man. Mine too.
So it's just a MacGuffin. It's just a MacGuffin stick. It does ding.
This stick is a Deus Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm. Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
It's
a penis. Go.
I just felt a deep sense of ennui.
You looked really sad suddenly. Like, you were like, we do this kind of for a living. We do this as part of a thing that we stay alive by.
Yeah, Deus Ex Machina made me reconsider some things. I didn't like that for me.
You have a job and suddenly you're too good for Deus Ex Machina. You changed, man. You changed.
So he says, it will help you in any circumstance. And the prince says, are you not coming? And the page boy says, no, I am forbidden from those woods.
He is the son.
And that's not explained. And the prince leaves.
Wait, that's never explained?
No.
I want her and the page boy to get it. Damn it.
I want her to make the page boy clap. What?
After they have sex, he gives her a little golf clap. Oh, nice.
Good job.
Honestly, not bad, not bad.
Touche.
Touche.
So the prince sets out alone. Nothing about this page boy is explained. I just have to reiterate that. I'm not forgetting anything. They're just like, there's a clairvoyant page boy. He's forbidden from the woods. He has a magic mirror and a magic stick. What do you want?
What do you want? We gave you everything we have.
So the prince sets out alone. And he's walking into the woods and it starts to get dark. And he's like, oh, no, I'm scared of the dark. But he realizes that the stick, like a walking stick that the page boy has given him, has a head carved onto the top of it.
Yeah.
And the head has these eyes. And as soon as it starts to get dark, the eyes start to glow like a flashlight. And they show him the path forward.
This is a really good invention for anybody who makes walking sticks.
Mm-hmm. A walking stick that has a flashlight on it.
But it's shaped like a head. Yeah. TM. We trademarked that.
And as it gets darker, he starts to hear like the murmurings of the forest at night. And among them, he hears voices in the woods. And the voices say, ahead, far ahead, you shall find the knights. If you go to the mountains, the king you shall find again. Which is very informative. Thank you, voices from the woods.
You're going to go up past 3 trees, and then you're going to take a left. There's going to be a mountain. You're going to go over it. And you're going to take a right when you get to the top. Down the mountain, you're going to see a house. Past the house.
So the prince follows the voices, and he's walking in the dark, kind of. He keeps following the voices, and finally he stumbles on something, and he looks down, and it's one of the knights who's just snoring loudly.
Horrifying. He just trips over a body.
Yeah, an alive body. He's just passed out.
Scary.
Yeah, but he trips over this body in the dark, and the knight is, like, snoring loudly. Yeah. And he's like, hey. And he like pokes him, and the knight doesn't wake up. And he's like, hey! And he like pushes him a little bit, and the knight's like, what?
And he wakes up?
And he wakes up.
Oh, nice. Spellbreaker.
Yeah. And so the prince is like, hey, I'm going to go save all the knights and my dad and also meet a girl with crazy eyes. You want to come? And the knight's like, absolutely the fuck not. Good luck, though. And the prince keeps coming across these knights as he continues, and he wakes them all up in turn. He's like, you want to come with me? And they're all like, no. Bye. Until finally he gets to his father, the king, and he wakes him up. And he's like, Papa, before we go home, I want to see this woman with the beautiful eyes. And his father is like, no, she's a real bitch. You shouldn't even look at her because she's such a bitch.
And now that I think about it, she's ugly.
And the prince is like, no, I won't leave until I've seen her. And the king's like, all right, well, I'm going home. So
Wow. He just saved your ass.
Mm-hmm.
At least stay close by so you can wake him up.
Don't worry, the page boy will protect him.
That's true. I forgot about the clairvoyant page boy who's very
not
sexy,
here.
but had other things to do. Don't worry about it.
He's forbidden from these woods.
I love the idea that he's on like some weird no-fly rule, no-fly list.
For the woods.
Yeah.
For eco-terrorism.
What did he do? Oh my god, do you think he was that guy that saved all those millions of frogs, like tadpoles, and then raised a frog army? It started like an eco-disaster.
That sounds like a clairvoyant page boy thing to do.
Yeah, and now the Wind of the Woods is like, you're not allowed here. You started an eco-disaster with your frog army.
Classic.
Canon. I still hope he make that thing clap, though.
He do.
He do.
You know he got that booty thing? So little Star's in the meadow outside of her shepherd father's hut. And she's outside with the cows, and it's like early morning, and she goes outside to feed them, and she sees a prince walking up in like the same kind of plate as the knights, and she's like, okay, another one of these fuckers. All right, let's go. And she gets ready to like glare at him, and he goes, ah, and he like puts the stick in front of him, and the stick's eyes glow at her eyes.
Oh no.
And suddenly she's dazzled.
And it's like that scene in Harry Potter where Harry Potter's wand meets Voldemort's wand.
It's exactly like that. But she's immediately dazzled.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Oh, and they start scatting.
and this stick dazzles her, and she says, Prince, handsome prince, do you want to marry me?
Oh, what?
And the prince says, no, because you're not of royal blood. I have one rule.
I've got standards.
And she's like, have you considered maybe you should marry me? And he's like, I'm not gonna. And he like starts walking away, and he's like, they weren't even that good of eyes anyway. And she's like, wait, but like, what if we got married? And he's like, no. And he's running away. And she's basically chasing him out of the woods. And as he reaches the outer edge of the woods, he runs, I assume full body, into the page boy.
Oh, the clairvoyant page boy.
Yeah, and the clairvoyant page boy is waiting. And he says, Prince, why are you running away? And the prince says, because she wants to marry me.
And as you know, I only have eyes for you. And then they kiss.
And then they kiss.
Yeah.
The end.
And the end. I don't know what happened with her. She's in the woods somewhere.
She's got other
Who the fuck cares?
The page boy says, marry her then.
Yeah.
And the prince says, but she is a peasant.
Ew. And therefore she's gross.
And the page boy says, no, she is the daughter of the king of Portugal.
I forgot he was from Portugal. That makes this story so weirdly specific.
A lot of these stories, there are a lot of stories.
There's no reason to name a country.
Yeah, there are a lot of stories, I feel like fairy tales from Europe.
Yeah.
Where they're like, the king of a far-off land, or like the prince of a far-off land.
Yeah.
And they always choose Portugal. Every single
Portugal.
time. Yeah, they're always like, the prince of Portugal is coming and he's going to carry you away.
Well,
like,
it's the same way.
They're like, it's exotic.
It's the same thing with all of the Arab folktales, where they're like, the king of Yemen.
Ooh.
Far away Yemen. Huh.
Okay.
Specific. But then again, maybe we're only saying that because, like, we are so weirdly isolated. Like, the only thing we can say is, like, ooh, the prime minister of
the governor of Ohio.
Exotic. The governor of Ohio wants to marry you. Gross. No, I don't even know who the governor of Ohio is.
I feel confident that they're not good.
And I can feel confident I'm not going to marry him. But I don't know. What's his network?
So the page boy says, no, she is the daughter of the king of Portugal. And the prince turns around and he sees the he sees the princess like crawling out of the woods covered in sticks, and she's like, "Wait, marry me!"
With her
like,
laser eyes.
And he's like, "Ah, yes, well, clearly you can only be of royal blood with those dazzling eyes. Well, then I shall marry you."
I don't think she should marry him. He seems classist as fuck.
Yeah.
Ew.
And in that moment when he says, "Well, then I shall marry you, I guess," or whatever, the spell is broken. The nymph of the wood appears to the queen and tells her, "Your daughter is free of the curse. You need to go get her. She's in the forest. Here's some directions. You go up the mountain.
You're
and
gonna
you
take a left.
Take a right after the house." So the queen goes and gets Little Star and her betrothed from the edge of the woods. Meanwhile, the Bear King hears that his
I was wondering if he was going to show up.
bride /
Meal.
dinner?
But right? Like, I didn't think he was going to marry her. I really just thought he was going to eat her.
It's unclear.
Okay.
He is like, "Damn it! Damn it, damn it, damn it!" And he throws a big old tantrum, and then he disappears forever.
Okay, here's what I'm imagining.
And he never came back.
I'm imagining Paddington Bear. He's wearing his little bucket hat and his raincoat, and he has a picnic basket and a single rose, and he's like getting ready to go out to go meet his new girlfriend. And he just hears, "The curse is broken, you can go home," and he's like, "Aw, nuts."
Yeah, so the Bear King throws a tantrum and then disappears from the world forever, never to be seen again. The end.
Where'd he go?
Away.
Max, I need to know. Are we in danger?
To Bear Dimension.
I guess he'll be very happy there.
Or will he?
Okay, so there's some things that were never answered, right?
There's a lot of things that most of it was never answered.
Clairvoyant Page Boy. I need a backstory. I need his own story.
A novel series.
What if he's John Wick? Hear me out. Keanu Reeves as Clairvoyant Page Boy. 2, Bear King. Where'd he go? I guess that's my only 2 questions.
Also, the prickly fairy. What was her fucking problem?
I forgot about her. Where? Did she put a curse on her? Because all she said was, "That baby looks like a snack."
For the Bear King.
That could be nice. We don't know. You didn't even state it. Women of the Woods. Was she part of this? Okay.
I think the idea is like the Nymph of the Woods was sending men.
She was
towards
sending
the princess. Yeah. And if the princess was like, "I'm not into it," then she made the men disappear, which is good. I mean, that's a lot of protection, honestly.
That's true. That's true. That reminds me of the story with Grumadon. Remember how the fairy was protecting that princess, but every time he would like go too far, the fairy would come up and be like, "Hey, no, she said no, back up." That's the other
More
time.
like Groomerdon.
Groomerdon!
Did we make that joke in the episode?
We did not, but that's a good one. I am Grumadon. I think about him all the time. If I ever got another pet, I think I would name him Grumadon. Like a lizard.
It would have to be like, yeah, or like a horned toad.
Yeah. Oh, horned toad named Grumadon. Max, I really enjoyed that. And I have so many questions. I was not rooting for their love story. There was nothing romantic about that.
No, not even a little bit.
He also didn't he didn't do anything.
He just wanted to see them big ol' eyes.
He also, he didn't woo her. I thought it was going to be a story of like, okay, so she has a stone heart. I thought it was going to be like he had to like do something really nice to like win her over. But really, he was given a magic tool and didn't have to do anything, didn't mean to do anything, and in fact, did not want to do anything, did not want her attention. Just kind of wanted to say that he'd seen it, like an Odysseus.
I also forgot the best line in the whole thing, and I'm really sorry. I have to go back to when she says, "Prince, handsome prince, do you want to marry me?" Right after she gets dazzled by a stick. And he says, "No, because you are not of royal blood." And she says, "Yes, I am." And he says, "Why are you minding the cows then?" And she says, "It was a punishment. But you should know that last night I dreamed I am of royal blood." And she's like, "No, you have to marry me. I had a dream once that I was a princess." Running after him in the woods.
No, please.
I don't know why that's so fucking funny, but she's like, just this woman, and he's like, "Oh, pretty good eyes." And she's like, "I'm a princess." You have to believe me.
Max's
I saw it in a dream.
Are like up near her ear, and her elbows are up at shoulder length, and she's just like lumbering in her seat. Just so you know, Max is not imagining a pretty princess.
I am imagining a pretty princess with the physicality of Gollum.
And there you go. And that's That's the image you should take away. Max, fantastic. Oh, also Heart of Stone. I bring this up too. So I've been kind of waiting for the Heart of Stone to show up in any of the stories we tell because I feel like that's a weirdly common motif that we haven't hit yet, right? Like, you've heard of that trope before, like, of the actual physical thing. I don't think we've ever had it in any of our stories. So I'm actually really surprised it's taken this long, but very excited that it's shown up now.
Yeah.
We should probably look up more Heart of Stone stories, right?
Possibly. Oh my god, this isn't gonna make this. The Witcher Wild Hunt had an expansion called Hearts of Stone.
Oh,
and it was fucking devastating.
Oh no,
I can't even tell you the whole story right now, but it was so fucking good, and I sobbed my eyes out.
Was it a literal Heart of Stone?
No, this guy. It was this guy made 3 wishes from a genie because.
Oh, I remember this.
Did I tell you about this?
Yeah, and also I sat in on one of when you were playing it.
Really?
I sat in on part of it. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, well, there's a recommendation for a very good video game.
God, it ruined my life. It's this guy who's like kind of a bandit, but he's trying to make enough money to like make himself a respectable man, and he falls in love with this woman who comes from a very wealthy family, and like nobody believes it. They're all like, he's just after her for her money, and he's like, no, I love her so much. And then he finds a genie and he makes 3 wishes. He has 3 wishes, and his first wish is like, I wish I was wealthy enough for her family to accept me as her husband. And he gets his wish and they get married. And then his second, what was it? Her family is still super shitty to him though, because they're like, you didn't make your money the honest way.
Yeah.
By being rich
also,
already, like all of us.
Your new money.
Yeah, exactly. And so they are really rude to him. And like every time they come over, they like try and convince his wife to leave him. And they are so in love.
Yeah.
But his wife is like, you know, she's like, I want to see my family, but like every time I see them, they're being super shitty to you and to me, but I can't just tell them to leave. So like, I don't know what to do. And so he's like, I wish that didn't hurt me so bad. And that's his second wish.
Oh.
And it hardens his heart into stone. And he goes back to being a bandit and he starts this whole big bandit crew. And she's like, and also now he's not like a good Robin Hood bandit.
Yeah.
He's like a murderer.
Because he doesn't have any empathy or
yeah. And
care.
So her heart breaks. And she dies of heartbreak.
Oh.
And he knows that if he takes his third wish, then the genie will like take his soul forever. So he just won't make his third wish. And the genie at this point is like stalking him. So you as the Witcher are hired by the genie to be like, make him do a third wish so that I'm not like tethered to him anymore.
Oof.
And like, it's just, you're finding out like this love story and how like, even though he has this heart of stone, he still logically understands. He's like, if I ever got my feelings back, my heart would be broken because of what I did to her.
Yeah, I don't want to feel this.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's devastating.
That's such a good storyline.
Oh.
I love that you just snuck in a second story.
Oh my God.
Second devastating tale.
And then at the end, you can choose to either help the genie and like say like he does his third wish and then the genie takes his soul because of all the horrible things that he's done.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to like help him by kind of like, I can't
therapizing
really
by sitting down in chairs talking about his feelings.
No, I think it's like, I don't remember how the other storyline ended. I think it's like you have to like sacrifice someone else to the genie or something like that.
Oof.
To save this guy who has done like a bunch of like burns towns.
So they're really
everything.
making you make these moral decisions.
That's the whole game. Is
Jesus.
like, yeah, it's devastating. And like, you know, he's also like, even if you save him, he's like, well, I'll never have her again. So I guess
I'm just gonna go die now, thanks.
Yeah, also he has eternal life.
Oh,
sorry, I forgot about that also.
Curse with immortality.
Oh God, there's no more devastating curse than the curse of immortality.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's what Edward Cullen was saying.
Hearts of Stone ruined my life. Also, he's super hot, and that's not fair. He's in the game, and he's really hot.
No, they made
like,
that
why
on
do you
purpose.
make me cry over a hot, mean boy?
Yeah. It's also in ACOTAR in the first one. One of the characters has a heart of stone, but they reveal it at the end. They're like, oh, by the way, his heart is made of stone, so you can stab him. It's fine. And she does, and she just stabs a rock.
His heart's like a turtle.
So stupid. It's thrown in.
He's got a heart on the half shell.
Oh my God. Heart on the half shell. Okay, Max, let's take a break. It's gonna be a long episode. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna go get another drink.
Yeah.
I need to have more drink.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.
Janey.
Max.
Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo. I have a tale for you today that is...
Is it like a furry tail or like a prehensile tail?
It's a up-curled tail on a man. This is extremely... This is a weirdly boomer statement that no boomer has ever made. But I don't think men should have upturned tails. I think they should hang down. I think a curly hair on a man is not manly. And that's the most weirdly sexist boomer thing I could say that no one's ever said out loud.
I think all dogs are boys and all cats are girls. I'm a boomer.
We're both just a couple of boomers. But like weird ones that have never existed. We're a new species.
Possibly repressed furries.
Okay, so this tale is called The Master Maid. It's a Norwegian tale. And just to begin with, Master Maid, the actual, like, translation, that's the translation of it. But it mostly kind of means, like, master as in, like, a master of things, you know?
Like the master of their
Yeah,
craft.
just, like, really good. I also saw a thing that said it was kind of, like, super woman. You know, like, it's just, can do anything. Okay? All right, I'm just going to go into it and I'll give you notes at the end. There once was a king who had many sons. The youngest, though, wasn't content sitting around at home waiting for his life to start. His brothers were kind of slowly getting married one by one, and he was like, when is it going to be my turn? And so he pestered his dad until he was given permission to go out and have an adventure. And he literally just did follow him around until his dad was like, oh my god, fine, go. So the prince traveled for a very short while, like a day and a half, maybe like half a day. And eventually he, quote, hired himself as a servant to a giant. He just showed up at a giant's house and he's like, hi, I work here now. But what do you want me to do? And the giant was like, what?
Do you want to see my resume?
You work here. And he's like, yeah, I just got hired today. What can I do for you? And he's like, hired at my home?
I love the idea of walking into someone's house and being like, hi, it's my first day. My job paperwork.
Where's my room? They have a suitcase. Okay. That's what he did. So the giant was like, okay, yeah, this is your room, and I'll give you work tomorrow, I guess. And so when his first day started, the giant went out to pasture with his goats. He went every day. And he told the prince that his task was cleaning out the stables. And he told him that after he was done, he could have the rest of the day to himself. He's like, literally no other tasks. I'm a really kind master. One task a day, honestly, and cleaning out the stables, it won't even take you that long if you do it right. So, like, cool. And the prince was like, awesome. Yeah, okay, I can clean out some stables. I can do that. No problem. And then the rest of the day to myself? Great job. And the giant was like, okay, I have one condition, though. I want you to, I guess, like, 2 conditions. Little ones, though. Easily followed. 1, you have to finish the job well and thoroughly. And 2, never open any of the 4 closed doors that are, like, leading up to your room. Like, your room is the 5th door. Just don't open any of the other doors. And if you don't finish the task, or if you open one of the doors, I'll fucking kill you.
Bloodroom.
I'm a cool giant. And a nice boss.
Bloodroom.
We're dropping a new metal album for Sword of the Story. So the giant left, and the prince immediately began opening doors.
This is stupid.
Oh, get ready to hear a story where the main character doesn't do anything for himself. This prince is weirdly the most frustrating prince we're going to talk about. So the first door had a bubbling cauldron, but no fire under it. It was just like hanging and bubbling. And so he walked around and he's like, what is this? How is it boiling? This is
That's
amazing.
actually carbonation. It's a microbrew.
Oh, good for the giant.
Recently divorced.
Oh yeah, he needs a hobby. And the goats ain't cutting it. So the prince took a bit of his own hair and then dipped it into the cauldron.
As you do.
Well, that's why I cut off my hair.
To dip in the cauldrons?
Whenever I see
Just
fit.
keep a little go bag full of hair for in case you come across any cauldrons.
Yeah. When he pulled it out, he saw that his hair had been turned completely into copper. And he says, quote, well, that's a nice kind of soup. If one were to taste it, his throat would be gilded. So he's like, good thing I didn't just take a big old slurp of it.
Why would you have done that, though?
Why did he dip his hair in it? He has a mind of his own. So he leaves that room and he's like, pretty cool. He goes to the second room, opens that door, no qualms. And he sees it also has a cauldron in it. He's like, well, let me see. So he cuts off some of his hair and he dips it into the cauldron and it comes out silver. And he's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I know this one. I know this. I can figure out the sequence. He goes into the next one, dips in his hair, just as he thought. It's gilded with gold. And he's like, I love these cauldrons.
And also there are a bunch of dogs in there with really spooky big eyes.
Oh. I forgot to tell you he had to take off a bunch of pugs and put them on an apron.
He had to put on like a little frilly apron.
He had to. He just had to.
Part of his job.
So he looks at the fourth door and he's like, okay.
Platinum?
Copper, silver, gold. This one's got to have something better. Platinum. So he's like,
uranium.
Oh, Cancer. That's a bummer. I should have stopped at 3. The
aluminum.
So he goes
chicken tenders?
It's chicken tenders.
It turns his hair into chicken tenders.
Dino nuggies. It's so nice. So he opens the fourth door and he goes in like, haha, like already cutting off some of his hair. He's got like a bald spot.
Nightmare. He's got W-shaped bangs.
Yes. He's cutting it from the front. And so he's like already cutting his hair off. He opens the fourth door and he looks around and he realizes there's no cauldron in this room. Instead, there's a woman. Just a nice woman. Like a beautiful woman. There's no blood.
Is there
room.
blood?
No, there's no blood anywhere.
No.
Actually, there's going to be blood later.
No.
Actually, you know what? I can make this a blood room story. Don't worry. Please, I will get there.
Please.
So,
I will throw myself into the sea if you don't.
Don't do that here. The sea smells bad in Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
So he sees this beautiful woman, right? And he's like, wow. And she looks at him and she's like, who the hell are you? And he's like, oh, I'm the new servant. I hired myself yesterday. She's like, oh, well, I hope you get a better job soon. This one sucks. And he's like, really? Sure, it's not so bad. He just gave me a super easy task and then left me alone.
That I haven't even started on.
I haven't even started. I've already broken 3 of his rules. 4 of his rules now. And so he's like, isn't the giant like a cool guy? Don't all bosses threaten to kill their employees if they don't get their work done? That's a thing, right? I mean, I'm a prince. I've never worked before, but that's a thing. And so she explained that every servant before him had died because they had tried to clean out the stables with a pitchfork the normal way that you would like, you know, muck out stables.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
As we all know.
She says, but when they did that, every time they put the pitchfork in the hay, 10 more pitchforks full would appear. Right? And she's like, that's just not the way to do it here. This is kind of a magic place. And
That's
like,
not how we do things around.
And so he's like, oh, well, what am I going to do? And she goes, oh, I'll tell you. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to...
asking.
She's like really excited just to be talking to anyone. So she's like, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to flip the pitchfork around and you're going to do it with the handle. You're going to muck out the stables with the handle. And she's like, and when you do that, everything's going to fly out on its own and it's going to take like no time at all. And so he's like, thanks for the tip. Okay. And then he goes to the door, he closes it, and he's like, so what are you doing today? And then he sits down on the couch, and she's like, nothing. And then they just talk for the whole day. He sits, they eat snacks, and they chat for hours. And by the end of it, they're like, so are we getting married? And she's like, yeah, okay, I'll get married. And then
they're both just covered in Cheeto dust.
Yeah, like, they are fully just hanging. And so it's starting to get close to evening, and she looks out the window, and she goes, you gotta go clean the state. You still have to do it. You have a job to... He's gonna kill you if it's not done. And he's like, fine. Being a servant is hard. Okay, I'll go. Pepper is inside of a bin.
She put herself in a bin.
Pepper put herself in a bin and she keeps like popping her head up, but it's a clear bin. She doesn't have to.
Also, there's nobody anywhere nearby.
She's being chased by a ghost.
Who is 2 rooms away.
Uh-oh. So he reluctantly leaves to go clean out the stables. Being a servant is hard. So first, he got there, he sees the pitchfork, he picks it up, he sees all the hay, and he's like, well, let me test it out the normal way first. Because, like, he doesn't really... He's like, I don't believe her. She's a woman. Let's see.
What?
Yeah. And so he puts the pitchfork in, and the second he puts the pitchfork into the hay and throws it over his shoulder, it just starts to fill up with more hay. And so, like, he does it, like, the third time, and now he's, like, drowning in, like, really dirty hay.
Why would you do it 3 times?
And he's like, okay, well, I made a mistake. So he flips the thing around, and he's like, that's my bad. I should listen better. And then he puts the handle into the hay, and immediately all the hay just flies out of the stable, and it's sparkling clean. And he's like, well, whew. Long, hard day of being a servant. And he goes back to his room. He's like, cool. He like throws the pitchfork over his shoulder and he walks back to the room that the giant gave him. And this is what he does. He gets into his room. He sits on the floor and he starts rocking back and forth, humming and singing full voice. That's not part of the story, but that's just what he does.
You know, it's just normal things.
That's something that you see like dramatized in like people in mental institutions and movies. Mm-hmm. That's what they do.
Yes. I'm gonna put her away.
Please. So the giant comes home, right after he's done. He's sitting on the floor, he's rocking back and forth, he's singing like a crazy person in a movie.
And the giant's like, hey man, are you okay?
The giant's like, I don't want you in my house anymore. I don't feel comfortable with you here. The giant comes home with his goats and he's like, hey, servant, did you finish the task I gave you? The super easy task because I'm such a kind master. Did you finish it? And the boy's like, yeah, of course. It wasn't so hard. And the giant scoffed and said, well, then let's check. And he goes to the stables to see for himself. And he comes back furious. And he's like, you must have opened one of those doors. You must have been talking to the master maid. That's the only way you would have been able to accomplish this by yourself. And the prince acts really confused. And he's like, what's a master maid? That sounds cool. Is that some sort of vacuum? Can I see it? And the giant's like, no, don't worry, you're gonna meet her soon enough. And then he walks away, like, grumbling. And he's like, okay. And so the next day, the giant, again, goes out with his goats. And he tells the prince that his task for that day was just to go to the mountainside. There's a horse up there. He's like, just go ahead and slap a saddle on that bitch and then ride it back home. I don't know why I said it like that.
Just go ahead and throw some thing on that guy.
So he's like, saddle that horse and then bring it back down. And the prince agreed. He's like, I love horses. I work with horses a lot. It's not so hard to just ride a horse home. Like, it's kind of what they're for. So, like, yeah, I can do that. And the giant's like, okay, just as a reminder, don't open any of the doors and actually finish the task. Otherwise, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to break your neck and I'm going to snap your head off and I'm going to throw it into the sky. And the prince is like, cool. Yeah, no, normal boss stuff. So the prince waited 10 seconds, maybe, after the giant leaves. Like, the door closes and there's a little bell above it and it finally stops, like, echoing that little ring. And he's like, off to see my girlfriend. And he goes to that fourth door, he swings the door open and he's like, hey, baby. And she's like, what's your task for today? And he's like, oh, I just have to go and get, like, a horse in the mountains and bring it back down. And she's like, how are you going to accomplish that? And he's like, isn't it easy? That's an easy thing, right? Getting a horse isn't hard. But he's also a prince, so I imagine that every horse he's ever seen has already been saddled for him.
Oh, 100%.
So he's like, it comes with a saddle, yes? You just kind of make it go.
It comes also with a footman who helps you up into the saddle.
Right?
And says, yes, my lord, you are so good at riding horses, my lord.
He says that, yeah?
Yeah.
And so she's like, okay, listen, no.
No.
None of that. She says, I'll help you. And she explains, this horse breathes fire out of its nostrils. It's Doppelgrim. Doppelgrim. Doppelganger.
Doppelgrim.
It's Doppelgrim. So this horse is giant and it breathes fire. And it's just like up there in the... I guess it's not Doppelgrim. It's the other horse. It's Doppelgrim's doppelganger. Doppelgrim.
Double grim.
Double grim. So she's like, here, take this special bridle. And if you can get it into the horse's mouth, then it's going to become as docile as a little lamb. That's just where that comes from, weirdly enough. So the prince takes the bridle and he's like, good tip. Thank you so much. And he puts it on the floor and he sits down and he's like, so what are we playing, some sort of board game today? Like, what's up with you, girl?
Parcheesi.
Yeah. And they play Parcheesi all day. And
I've never played Parcheesi.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't either. It's a game. I know that. But
Should we learn how to play it on our Discord?
Maybe. The only context I've ever heard Parcheesi used in is when people are like making out and they're like, let's play Parcheesi. You know? That
How
happens
many
in
people
so many
have been
things.
making out with you who have
No, not with
stopped
me, but like in a
abruptly?
movie or like a book. They're like, we should stop and we should just maybe just play some Parcheesi. That's the only context I've ever heard it in, and I've heard it like 10 times in that context in different mediums.
Max has this weird
Parcheesi is
curse.
the sex game.
Max has this weird curse where everybody who kisses her immediately wants to stop and play Parcheesi. But also part of her curse is that nobody wants to play Parcheesi with her. She still doesn't know what it is.
I awaken in people a passion for Parcheesi, but not for partner cheesy with me.
Partner cheesy is the sex thing. So
it is also terminal.
Thoughts and prayers. So they hang out all day, and towards the end of the day, she's like, you have to go get that horse now. And he's like, do I have to, though? And she's like, that's your one thing you had to do today. Yes, you have to go do that. And he's like, being a servant's so hard. You have to do so many one thing.
I hate it when I have to do all these one thing.
So he goes up the side of the mountain, doesn't even have to go that far, and he finds that horse, and it immediately starts like roaring at him like a monster and like breathing fire out of its nostrils. And so he waits till it gets kind of close to him, and his like mouth is open like ah, and he just like tosses the bridle out of his mouth, and it catches it like Summer whenever I throw anything. Summer can't help it. He's a good catcher. Summer's my dog. So
Summer's a human baby.
Yeah, and he's really good at catching.
to sell to the circus.
My parents sold me to the circus. So that's a Wattpad story.
Is it?
It is now. I'm going to write it tonight.
Okay.
Get ready for my parents sold me to the circus. Okay, so the second the horse catches the bridle, it like calms down, the flames immediately stop, and the horse is really nice now. And so he just like saddles it, and then he rides it home. He brings it back to the stables, he tucks it in nicely, he gives it some warm milk, and then he's like, okay, good night.
Some worm milk?
He gives it some warm milk, and then he says,
worm milk?
Sweet dreams.
No!
Night.
Is it milk with worms in it, or is it milk from a worm?
Don't let the bed worms bite. So the giant comes home, and he's fully expecting the horse to not be there, and he's infuriated to see that it is there. So he accuses the prince again of talking to the mastermaid, and again, the prince plays dumb.
And he's like, do you mean masturbate? I did do that today, but you didn't say not to, so it's fair game.
That wasn't one of the rules, so technically I'm off the hook. You don't have any soap, I've noticed.
I tried to wash my dick and I couldn't, so it's really gross. If you can smell it, I'm really sorry.
This giant every day comes home and says, let me smell your dick. Okay, this is a quote. He says, yesterday, master, you talked about this master maid, and today you were talking about her. Ah, heaven bless you, master. Why will you not show me the thing? For it would be a real pleasure for me to see it. And the giant's like, grumble, grumble. You're going to see her soon enough. Don't you worry. And then he like stomps away. And the guy is like, cool. I'm killing this. I'm a great servant. All these servants who complained in my castle, why were they complaining? This is so easy. And so on the third day, the giant's like, you have to go underground and do my taxes. Goodbye. And he's like, okay.
Oh my God.
I don't know what that means. So the guy's like, I have no idea what that means. I have people that do my taxes for me, but you know what? You know who would know what it means? Master maid. I'm not even gonna try to figure this one out. And so he just walks to the room, like the second the giant leaves, like the door isn't even closed yet, and he's already like, hello. What do I do? What is this?
What's Texas?
Tax. Is he saying I have to go to Texas?
That's not even invented yet.
No. I'm not gonna do that.
But I've heard all my exes are there, so I don't think I want to go.
I'd rather die. So she's like, all right, yeah, no, I know what he's talking about. You have to go collect his taxes. You misheard.
I love the idea of the prince digging a hole and then pulling up TurboTax in the hole.
The Wi-Fi is underground. I don't know what to tell you. So she says, you're going to go to the mountain ridge to a big rock. You're going to know what rock I'm talking about. Don't worry.
In the mountains? Made of rocks?
Yeah. Next to it, there's going to be a club lying nearby. You're going to pick it up. You're going to knock on the rock. Okay. Someone who was, quote, sparkling with fire This reminded me of your little nymphs. Literally has fiery eyes. It's going to answer and ask you how much you want. And you're going to say, only as much as I can carry.
How much you gonna give me?
How much can I have? So he spends all day with her again. And at the end of it, he reluctantly is reminded, like, you have to go. So he has to get off his butt and go to that weird boulder. And he knocks on it. And he's greeted by this fiery creature who's like, how much do you want? And he's like, I'm only asking for what I can carry in my arms. And the creature responded, quote, good thing you didn't ask for a horse load. And then he just, like, brings them in, and the prince fills a bag, and then he leaves.
What?
What if he had asked for a horse load? We'll never know because he listened.
Oh, no.
What? Why are you looking at me like that? Max looks devastated. Oh my god, she's looking more and more horrified. What?
The fiery creature would have just thrown horse semen on him.
He just gives him a horse load. You didn't say I couldn't masturbate.
You didn't say I couldn't throw horse semen on you.
There's nowhere in the rules to say I can't throw horse semen on you. I checked. So the giant came home and was shocked yet again to see all this gold spilling out of the bag. He says, quote, you have certainly been talking with my master maid, and if you have, I will wring your neck. And the prince says, master maid? Yesterday my master talked about this master maid. Today he's talking about the master maid. And the first master maid is hard to say. He says, and the first day. It was all talk of the same kind. I do wish I could see this thing for myself. And the giant's like, you know what? You don't have to wait long. I'm going to show you the master maid tomorrow. Then the prince says, aw, you're just saying that. You're mocking me. You're not really going to show me the master maid. And the giant's like, yes, I am. And he's like, you're joshing.
Come on.
The giant's like, I'm not joshing. You're going to meet the master maid. So the next day, the prince is infuriating. He does no work. He has the utmost confidence, and he never loses it. So the next day, the giant brought the prince to the fourth door, and he introduced him to the master maid. And after the, oh, hello, person I've never met before. Wow, you look brand new to me.
I've never seen you before in my life.
They do all that, and she's like, what? There's a boy here? I have never seen a boy. And the prince is like, what is this? Where's the master maid? After this, the giant's like, cool, fucking murder him. Thank you. And she's like, you got it. What? He says, after you murder him, put his body in the, quote, the big cauldron you know of. Boil him for a while until he becomes broth. And when the broth is ready...
Oh my god, it's copper, silver, gold, and broth.
When he's ready, wake me up. The copper, gold, and silver... cauldrons never come back. This is a different cauldron.
Yeah, no, they're saying that the only thing that is worth more than gold is broth.
Is broth.
And they're right.
Boy broth.
Oh.
Horse semen. He says, after he tells her, like, you know, when it's ready, wake me up. He lays down, closes his eyes, and just, like, comically fast falls asleep. Like, his eyes close and he's like... He honks shoes right away, Max. So the master maid got to work immediately. She got a knife, and she cut the prince's little finger. And then she drops 3 drops of blood on a stool. It's an old switcheroo.
I feel crazy.
Then she gathered all the trash and rubber shoe soles she could find, and she puts it in that big broth. Trash and rubber shoe soles. Say that 3 times fast.
Trash and rubber shoe soles. 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 Trash and rubber shoe soles.
We're really good at this. We are nailing
this. Both of us are doing so good.
Guys, send us Discord voice notes of you saying trash and rubber shoe soles 3 times fast. It's weirdly easy.
I said it 5 times. You have to do it
10 times.
Hey, Discord members, if you want to kill me, you got to do it 6 times.
Anybody who does it 6 times is not a true fan. All right. So she puts it into the cauldron and then she sets it to like start boiling. Afterwards, she packed a go bag full of the necessities any girl would possibly bring. A lump of salt.
Can I guess?
Yeah, sure. A lump of salt is the first one.
There was a period of my life where I carried a little shaker of garlic powder around.
I mean, yeah.
Because I was eating on campus and none of the food had any seasoning. And to me, seasoning is garlic.
Garlic. Also, if there's a vampire around, useful.
The things girls need. Swiss Army knife. Mini sewing kit.
Yes. I was just telling my students about this. One of them said,
emergency blanket.
Okay, so these are things that Max will actually bring around, except for the emergency blanket. But you might
have
have
an
that in
emergency
your car.
blanket in my car.
Yeah.
I have the aluminum shock blanket in my car.
Yeah. Cool. My students came up, my 5th graders, and they were like, Miss Rabideau, Zoe has this big purse and she has everything in there. And I'm like, what do you need that in 5th grade for? And I was like, I know what kind of adult Zoe's gonna be just by hearing that. They're like, she has everything in her purse. And I was like, oh, I can see Zoe as an adult now. She's gonna be my best friend Max. And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, this is what the things that Max actually has had in her purse at any given moment. A sewing kit, a first aid kit, like a flashlight. There's a pocket knife in there. She's like, she carries a knife? And I was like, yeah, she carries a knife. Sometimes you need to cut an apple. They're like, oh. I was like, so we just went through. I was like, probably a notebook of some kind.
Yes.
Several types of pens. She probably has some sort of hairbrush. She has a little emergency makeup pack in there. Like, we went through and I listed all the stuff that I know you carry in your purse. And I mentioned, like, at one point she had a whistle.
Do I have a whistle?
Was it the slide whistle?
I had a slide whistle in high school. In high school, my purse was my props bag. Now it's more of my, like...
emergency.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, a bunch of different types of chargers in case you need a charger. She has a bunch of different types.
I have a rechargeable battery that has every type of charger off of it. So literally anyone can charge. I had to use that at work. Someone was like, hi, I'm waiting for my friend and it's dark and my phone's about to die. Do you have a charger? And I was like, listen, my charger is covered in really rude stickers, so you just have to not tell my boss that it's covered in stickers that, like, it's a big old block battery, and it has a bunch of medical stickers on it that say, like, for rectal use only, and, like, stuff like that. I was like, you have to not tell her about this, but also please charge your phone and be safe. Do you want someone to walk you? And she was like, no, I'm good. And I was like, all right, let me know if you change your mind.
For Christmas, I found a really weird statue covered in barnacles, maybe? I don't know. I found this weird...
It was a weird vase.
Yeah, and it was, like, kind of long and oblong and, like, oval, bulbous. It's really weird. And I bought that for our friend Jordan. And on the bottom, we put the sticker that says, for rectal use only. And then just gave him that for Christmas. He's like, what the fuck is this?
Good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's... Okay, so for her go bag...
Scissors, first aid kit, plus Tylenol, because most first aid kits don't have Tylenol, and you'll need it more often than you think. Also, hand sanitizer.
Okay.
I have a little, like, personal, like what's it called? Safety device, the, like, little jabber things.
Oh, that's shaped
it's
like
the Bad Kitty, but actually works.
Okay. Cool.
The Bad Kitty is capable of breaking or dislocating your fingers.
Yeah.
Just a heads up.
Okay.
Also, what else do I have? I have my sunglasses. I have a bandana, sometimes 2 bandanas, because they're like sometimes for my hair, but also for like 30 other things.
Yeah.
I have a pen. I have a notebook. You already said that. I have a coin wallet. I have my regular wallet. I had to take some stuff out because I had to go through a metal detector.
Headphones?
Yes, I have headphones always. I have wireless headphones. Scissors. Scissors is a big
first.
One. Did I? Okay.
2 pairs of scissors. Okay.
No, I have 1 pair of scissors, and it's because like Swiss
Max,
Army knives don't have scissors that work.
We're never gonna finish your list of things that you carry in your purse, and I have.
Okay, but I haven't even started listing the things that I have in my car.
No, we're
I
moving
have a sleepover
on.
pack.
No, okay.
I have
so
a second first aid kit.
God damn it. Okay, so she has in her go bag a lump of salt.
I have a mini. I have a mini toolkit.
Yes.
I have like a tiny little level and like a little
I
screwdriver.
did tell my kids that.
And, like,
I said
that
you had a
hammer and
I mentioned that for them that you had a tiny tool.
Yeah, a little like fold up saw that you can use. It's not like practical, but if you need to saw something really small, then you can.
A tiny stick. A finger, perhaps.
Ooh.
She has a water flask, a golden apple, and 2 gold chickens.
I also carry a water bottle.
And then they ran out the door
And
together.
a flask.
Salt, flask, apple, chickens. The apple and the chickens are both gold. So, she puts them in her bag, and then they ran out the door together. They ran until they got to the ocean. They found a boat, and the narrator's like, where they got the boat? I don't know. So me and the narrator both don't know where they got the boat. I have a guess, though. I think the narrator also has a guess, but they decided not to tell me. The narrator talks to you sometimes in this book.
Where do you think they got the boat?
I'll tell you. So they sail off. The giant, meanwhile, wakes up a little while later, and without opening his eyes, he's like, is the soup ready? And then one of the drops of blood was like, almost. It's just starting to boil now, master. And he's like, okay. And then he falls back asleep. A couple hours later, he wakes up again, and he's like, oh, that soup's got to be ready, right? And the second drop of blood is like, any minute now. It smells delicious. I'll wake you up when it's done. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he goes to sleep for another hour, and then he mutters after an hour, is it ready yet? And the third drop of blood is like, yep! That third drop of blood is not a friend. So
that blood hated that guy.
So he sits up and he rubs his eyes, and he couldn't find the master maid. He called out to her, and she doesn't answer. And he's like, oh, she probably just, like, stepped out for a minute. So he gets up, and he walks over to the pot, and he tastes it. And he realizes it's garbage and old shoe soup. And he's like, well, I've been tricked! He sees the drops of blood in the room. A blood room, technically.
Ooh, baby.
And he realizes he'd been tricked. And that made him so mad. Good soup. And so he ran out the door after them. He got to the sea, and he knew they must have sailed away, because I think his boat must have been missing.
Oh, okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
Okay. And he says, quote, Figure's just running wild through the house. He says, quote, well, I will soon have a cure for that. I have only to call my river sucker. And then he, and then he called his river sucker.
And this guy just walks up and
with
he's
a
like,
straw.
yes. No, without a straw. He's just a sucker. And he's like, yeah, what?
Have I got a proposition for you? This isn't going to be a trick this time, river sucker. So he calls his river sucker. The river sucker, there's no explanations for this. I think in some of the versions of this story, the giant himself just drinks the river. But no, in this one, in a lot of them, this river sucker just shows up and is like, cool, takes out his little, reusable metal straw. And
because he's an eco-friendly giant.
And he takes 1, 2, 3 drinks of the water. And the sea level went down so much, the giant was able to see the prince and the master maid in the distance. And I guess that's how that works.
What?
I don't know. So the master maid tells the prince to throw the lump of salt into the water, which he did. And it grew into a huge mountain, which blocked the giant's view of them, so they keep going. And the giant's like, I'm not worried. I'll just call my hill borer. I've got a guy for that.
And he's like, actually, the really interesting thing about
oh my god
is that their
hill borer is so
gnolls.
hill boring.
They're distinct from gnolls in several ways. So here are the characteristics that you can
so
look for
the hill borer bored through the mountain.
First thing is that you want to look at the top of
Max,
it.
Max, the story is so long. Okay. So the hill borer, after he's done boring them to death, bores through the mountain. So the river sucker is now able to drink the water again and get them again, right?
It's really salty now.
Yeah, he's like, delicious. This is Janey soup. But the master soup that Janey would like. It's salty. Jupe. Don't say jupe. Feels wrong. So the master maid told the prince now to take the flask and drop 2 drops of water from the flask into the ocean. And he does that. And suddenly the ocean is full again. The river sucker is like, oh, I gotta take another drink. And he goes to go do it. But before he can even take one drink, before he can even do that, the boat lands against the shore. And the two make it safely to land. I'm excited for river sucker to show up in the Discord. River sucker is such a weird and satisfying thing to say. I was having a great time typing that.
That's good.
I also really like that we never know what it is, what it looks like. There's no descriptions. And it doesn't come back.
This is just the aquatic variant of the, brush that turns into a forest. And, like in all the Russian stories,
yes,
they have,
exactly.
and then, the second thing.
You're going to see this a lot. Also, this story...
In this story?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
A lot of themes that match up with other themes, and I'm going to kind of talk about that because it's kind of this story has kind of started it all in a weird way, at least according to some experts.
Gerbled it all.
It gerbled it all. So, why did you say that?
Or it took on aspects of other stories to
No,
become
they think
like
that
a mega myth.
They think that it started off.
Mega
Mega myth. This is too late. Okay, so they make it safely to land. The giant had been defeated for some reason. He's now unable to follow them. I don't like the river sucker could just drink the water and the giant could just walk, right? Like he doesn't want to do that. So they're free now. So the prince told the mastermaid, like they get to the forest and they're like, "We made it, my love. Oh my gosh, we're going to be together forever." And then he looks in her eyes and he's like, "Wait here. I'll go bring back a carriage for you." And she's like, "No, I'm not going to do that. Definitely not. That doesn't make sense. I'm just going to walk with you." And he's like, "No, you can't. It would be unbecoming for you to walk to my castle." And she's like, "It's right down there, dude. I can walk." And he's like, No, I'll get the carriage." And she's like, "Listen, if you leave me, I'm magic, as you know. I'm clairvoyant, like that little page boy, who's my little brother." And my little brother and I share a gift and a love of princes. And I know that if you go home without me, you're going to forget me. And he's like, "I could never forget you. We've gone through so much in the last 4 days."
You're the love of my life of the past 4 days.
And he says, "I love you so much" for 4 days old in this relationship. And
yeah,
so,
I'm 4 days old.
The prince was born sexy 4 days ago. So, remember how she solved all his problems in 4 days and he saved his life a bunch and he never had to do a single thing? And he's like, "I love you."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's lazy. And so he is like, "I will not be talked out of it. I will not let you walk. You're too good for that. I will go get a carriage." And so she's like, "Oh my God. Okay. Fine. But here's the thing. You have to listen to me like you listened to me all the other times. Okay?" And he's like, "Okay." And she's like, "You have to run home, get the horses, attach them to the coach, and then drive back as quickly as you can. You cannot stop to talk to anyone. You cannot acknowledge them. Don't look at them. They're going to try to talk to you. Just ignore them. Get the horses, come back. And for God's sakes, do not eat or drink anything that they give you. Got it?" And he's like, "You're so paranoid. It's adorable." "Okay, I'm going to go now." And she's like, "No, say you get it." And he's like, I get it. And then he runs away.
I hate him.
He agreed. He's like, "Baby, come on. What's the worst that can happen?" He runs off. He gets to the palace and he immediately sees a wedding party. His brother, who's about to get married, was outside with his bride and like her whole family. And they see the prince and they run up to meet him. And they're like, "Oh my God, you made it back for the wedding. That's amazing. How was your trip? You went away so long ago." And he just starts ignoring him. What?
Just like in The Night Before Christmas with a K.
Just like that.
Right?
Oh, yeah. So he's like, they're all questioning him and chattering him, doing like, saying nice things that you would say to like a relative who's been away for a while. And the prince is just like moving forward. He's not looking at them. He's ignoring them like he's gone deaf over the trip and now he can't hear them. And they're like, "Hello? Hello?" They're like waving their hands in front of him and he's just like, gotta get this horse. And he goes to the stable. Yep, he gets the horses. He starts to attach them to the carriage. So when they realize that like, oh, he's not like talking to any of us, maybe something's wrong, then they like go out and they start bringing out food, like beautiful, delicious food and drink. And they're like, "Here, maybe have a snack. That's always gotten you before."
That always
You are food
makes
motivated.
you not be a person who can't talk anymore.
Yeah. And so
you always talk when your mouth is full.
So they bring out the food, but he's like, "I'm not going to do that. I know I was given a task and I listened to my lady love." And so he like finishes his task. He starts to lead the coach out of the stable. And then the bride's sister rolls an apple across the floor to him. And he looks at it and he says, "Well, what harm could an apple do?" And he picks it up and takes a bite. And then...
Is this an allegory?
Maybe. I don't know.
Is this an Adam and Eve allegory?
I don't know.
Adam gory?
To be honest, this story might predate that Adam and Eve story. If you're going by, not by a religious standpoint, by like a writing of the Bible and telling these stories, this is a weirdly old story. Anyway, I'm telling kind of like a modern-esque version of it, as like it was written down by Peter Ebsjornsen and Jørgen Moe, the Norwegian writers that wrote all of your favorite Norwegian stories. Yeah. But yeah, so this is weirdly a modern tale of this, but like this is a super old story. Like almost every fairy tale they think has kind of come from this. It's weird. Okay. So, so immediately he takes a bite of the apple and he looks over at the coach and he's like, ugh, why are all these horses here? Why did I want this? I'm so silly. Why did I want all these horses? I don't need these horses. And he, like, tosses the apple over. Yeah, he, like, slaps them on their butt, and they just kind of, like, walk off awkwardly with a full coach.
Should we
And then he goes, and then he goes inside to hang out with his family and announces, like, I guess I'm going to marry this girl. She gave me an apple. And they start planning their marriage. So, after waiting for a long time, this is a weird parallel to your story, the master maid is just now in the woods waiting for him to come back, and she's like, oh yeah, he's not coming back. He definitely did something wrong. He's never coming back to get me. And so she walks for a bit until she found a hut in the middle of the woods. It belonged to a mean old troll. The master maid knocked and was like, can I stay here? And the troll's like, no. Bye. Tries to close the door, and she's like, okay, but, like, please. And then eventually she offers her money, and the troll woman is like, I mean, okay, I guess yes. But, like, why did she think she could just stay there for free? Yeah, you have to pay.
But also,
stay in her home.
We already know that the best way to go about this is to walk up and say, hello, I was just hired yesterday.
She could have just hired herself.
Supervisor if you want to. But I work here now. What's my job?
Where's my room? Yeah, she should have taken a note from the prince who just hired himself.
He's like, what's up? I work here now.
So the old troll's house was disgustingly dirty.
Ew.
So she wasn't expecting company, but, like, okay. So the master maid was like, I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to make it look like everyone else's house. And the troll's like, no, don't do that. This is my home. I don't want you to do that. Stay away from my shit.
This is my emotional support shit.
This is all my emotional support shit. A-S-S. A-E-S-S. So, they say the troll... I spell it ass so confidently.
I really thought you were going to say it, and I didn't want to steal your thunder, but then you moved on. I was like, we have to go back to how you just said ass.
Emotional support shit from your ass. I was right. We're so tired. It's now 11 o'clock.
Oh my God.
Okay. Whew. We gotta go. This is literally going to be a 2 hour. This is going to be the longest episode we've ever done.
Hilarious.
Okay. So...
You can't clean that. It's my ass.
Oh no! I think we just went over a weird hill and now it's all downhill from now. Okay.
It was already downhill, but now it's downhill.
Yeah, now we're going downhiller. So, the troll was like, no, I don't want you to clean my home. I'm not hiring you. You're paying me to stay at my house for, like, a night, and then you have to leave, okay? That's how this works. But the story says, quote, the master maid did not trouble herself about that. She threw some of the gold dust that she had brought into the fireplace, where it bubbled and poured out over the entire house, gilding everything on the inside and out in gold. The old troll was so terrified at this boiling gold wave that's overcoming her that she, like, ran out of the house. But she forgot in her terror to stoop at the door, so she ran into the door's frame, split her head open, and died. And now the master maid had the gold house to herself. Ha, ha, ha.
That's my gold ass now.
She just murdered this troll. She walked into her home. She bullied her way into this woman's home and then scared her to death.
And ruined her ass.
Ruined her ass. Max, no. So the next day, all right, so we're almost done. The next day, the sheriff is riding by, and he sees this gold house, and he's like, well, what the hell is happening here? I better go and introduce myself to whoever came in and painted this house. And he knocks on the door, and the most beautiful woman he's ever seen answers the door, and immediately he's like, hi, I love you. Oh, sorry. Hi, I love you. Can I marry you? And she says, you got any money? And he says, yeah, I have a lot of money. And she's like, prove it. So he goes home and he brings back, like, a sack of gold and he's like, here's my money. And she's like, okay, I'll marry you. And then she invites him in. And they sit down at a gold table and they're like, okay, let's talk about the wedding. And then all of a sudden she jumps up and she says, I forgot to stoke the fire. Hold on, let me go ahead and feed the fire real quick. And he says, like, hey, no, don't, I'll I'll do that. You don't need to do that. I'll do it. You're gonna be my wife. You don't have to work anymore. And she's like, okay, thank you. And so he gets up, he goes to the fire, and she's like, just let me know when you have your hand on the shovel there, okay? And he's like, okay. And so he has the shovel, and he goes, I have the shovel. And she's like, okay. Quote, then you may hold the shovel and the shovel you and pour red hot coals over you till day dawns.
What?
And he spent the entire night being unable to let go of the shovel, forced to pour red hot coals over his head, screaming and crying and begging her to release him from this weird curse. And by the time he's done, he looks like he's been tarred and like flayed because his skin has burnt off and like he has no hair left on his head.
Why?
So when morning finally broke, he was able to let go of the shovel. He ran out of the house screaming, forgetting his bag of money entirely. Now that's hers.
She has a golden house!
And now a sack of money.
And a dead troll.
Yeah.
And a bunch of burned flesh.
Yeah, that smells great. So he ran through the house. Or no, he didn't. He ran through the town, and everyone was shocked to see him. Like, everyone in the town was like, what happened? And he does not tell them. He just runs all the way home.
Because
he doesn't
melted.
tell them because he's ashamed.
What?
Yeah, he doesn't tell anyone
and
what happened.
Melted.
So this reminds me of the theme in your story about the little old man with the long beard, the mannequin Longbeard.
Yeah.
How none of the men will talk about what happened, and so it just happens again and again.
Mm-hmm.
That's happening in this story. Like, he does not say what happened, so nobody knows to go and check her out. Also, him not being able to let go of the shovel reminds me of
the blacksmith.
The devil, the jack-o'-lantern story.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Some,
That's what I was thinking also.
Very specific happenings in this story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next day, an attorney rode by, an attorney at law, and saw her and fell in love with her.
An attorney outlaw.
An attorney outlaw. That's a really good name. Like, that's a really good story idea. Like
Should
Robin
we make
Hood.
a movie?
Yes, it's Robin Hood who's stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, and then his attorney who's representing him and getting him off of jail charges.
Off of jail.
Okay, so the attorney rides by, and he sees her, and he falls in love instantly. And he proposes, and she's like, okay, well, do you have a lot of money? And he's like, I have got so much money, more money than I know what to do with. And she's like, show me the money. And he's like, okay. So he brings an even bigger bag of gold. And she's like, great, excellent. I love that. Yes, I'll marry you. And they sit down to talk about the wedding. But then she jumps up and she's like, I forgot to latch the door. It's dangerous to not have a locked door. And he's like, I'll go do it, honey. And she's like, cool, just let me know when you have your hand on the latch. And he's like, okay. So he puts his hand on the latch and he goes, I've got it, you silly little minx. And she's like, cool. Well then, quote, then may you hold the door and the door you, and may you go between wall and wall till day dawns. And then the door just starts fucking throwing him around. And the story says, like, sometimes he's in front of the door, sometimes the door's in front of him. But he's just getting fucking throttled all night. And he's just screaming and getting throttled and, like, being thrown from, like, he'll be in front of the house and thrown against that wall, and then inside the house and thrown against the other wall. So he's just being beaten to death, basically.
Jesus.
He runs out of the house screaming when sun rises, and everyone in town sees him, and they don't know what to think because he doesn't want to tell them about it.
You can never trust a lawyer.
No, and they also don't like him. So the third day, because the story follows the rules of three, religiously, the town bailiff passes by, and he falls in love with her. And he's like, I have a lot of money, and then he gives her an even bigger sack of money. And then she's like, I forgot to bring in my calf. You get it, the whole pattern. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I'll bring in...
A calf?
Yeah. Yeah, apparently. So the bailiff's like, I'll bring it in for you. You don't have to do that. And she's like, thank you so much, husband. I can't wait to be married to you. Just let me know when you have the calf's tail. And he's like, that's not how you bring in a calf, but okay. And he goes and he holds its tail and he's like, I got it. And she's like, great. Then may you hold the calf's tail and the calf tails hold you. And may you go around the world together till day dawns. And then the calf just starts to, then they will have a great adventure.
Road trip movie.
No, and then the calf starts to fucking run, and this bailiff, who they mention is a really, really big man, he just starts getting dragged over, like, hill and dale and over, like, mountains and through streams and stuff, and he's like, no! And the calf just doesn't get tired or anything, it just drags him like he weighs nothing.
The way that this is phrased is like, may you have the calf and may the calf have you.
You're married to the calf.
Yeah, that
now.
is what it sounds like. Is she's like, oh, you want to get married? You're married to my fucking door.
And then there's violence.
And my door is not a good partner.
May domestic violence ensue. So the bailiff is being dragged around, and when the sun finally dawns, he's able to let go of the calf's tail, and he walks through town, and the story says, much, much slower than the other two. But even then, he won't talk to anyone, and they're like, you look like you just got dragged almost to death. And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. And he goes home. So the following day, the prince's older brother gets married. Right? It's his wedding day. They all gathered in a coach together, and on their way to the wedding day, like the prince, his brother, his bride, and then his betrothed. They're all there. And they start to go, but as soon as they start to go, they break a trace pin. Don't know what that is. But they're like, we can just replace it. But everything they try to replace it with breaks again. It will not go. And they're like, well, we need to make it to the wedding. And so the sheriff, who has also been invited to the wedding.
Is that so you have like the place where the horses are hitched to the carriage?
Could be the thing that goes inside of it.
Yeah, like the pin.
Probably.
If I had to guess, I would say that might be it.
That's good. I was thinking it has something to do with the tires, but actually that makes a lot more sense. Wheels.
A carriage with tires.
It's an old-fashioned
all-terrain carriage
with tires. Okay. So, no, the wheels. So the sheriff, who had been invited to the wedding, is like, hey, I just happened to see this awesome shovel. It was made out of gold. It was in a gold hut. And, like, I bet that could go in there. It's the same size, and also it will never break or stop. So,
as I have discovered.
Don't ask me how. He's wearing a full body bandage. He looks like the Invisible Man when he wraps himself up.
He's wearing sunglasses.
And he's wearing sunglasses.
And
so
a hat.
They sent a messenger to ask for it, and the master maid is like, sure, you can have this. And she just gives it over freely, and it works. The carriage is off. But soon it broke down again because the bottom fell right out. Like, ow. All the guests just like fucking drop. And so they tried replacing the bottom, but everything just broke again. And they're like, why do we have this broke down old carriage? This is stupid. So eventually the attorney is like, I know about this golden door that's super strong. Let's see if and it's the same size as this carriage. Let's see if the master maid will give it to us. And so they send a messenger and she gives them the door. And it works. They have a bottom to the carriage. And they start their way to the wedding. And then because the story's theme is 3, the carriage breaks down one more time. And suddenly it becomes so heavy the horses can't pull it. And they keep adding more and more horses. There's like 100 horses and the horses are like, we can't go. It's too heavy. And so the bailiff is like, I know about this shitty calf. He's horrible, but he's very strong. I know. I weigh more than this carriage. So he gets the calf from the master maid. She's like, yeah, take it. And it pulls them to the wedding. And they get there and they get married. And everyone's really happy. Okay.
What?
The brother, not the prince. I know. This is confusing me too. So everyone was relieved. So relieved that later at like the wedding dinner, the prince is like, hey, we should invite that kind woman who lived in the golden hut to the dinner. We need to say thank you to her. She literally saved the day 3 times. And the king was like, yeah, okay. So he sends like 7 of his best men to go ask her to dinner. And she sent a message back. She's like, if you're too good to come to my house, I'm too good to come to your house. You come and get me yourself, you bitch-ass king. And he's like, okay. So he's like, I'm at my son's wedding. But yeah, I guess I'll go and you're not on the guest list. This is a courtesy. And so he goes to get her. He escorts her back to the castle. And she's so beautiful and she's so confident and she's kind of scary that the king is like, honestly, you deserve a place of honor. You seem important. So he sits her right next to his son, the prince. Okay? At this point, this is how I imagine this happened, because they don't explain this part. But the master maid leans into the prince and says, want to see something cool? And then she takes 2 golden chickens and a golden apple out of her pockets. And she sets them on the table. Like live chickens.
What do you think?
Here they are. And he's like, cool. I don't know.
Good.
Why do I have to sit next to her? And then the chickens began fighting over an apple. Now, this is in the story. The prince said, oh, look, the chickens are fighting over that apple. And she says, oh, yes. And so did we fight to get out of that time we were in the mountain. Flawless execution. And then this, for some reason, jogged the prince's memory. He's like, oh, yeah, I guess we did do that. And he's delighted.
We're like the chickens.
We're just like those chickens fighting for that apple. Remember that time we had to fight for our lives and you told me what to do and you saved us every step of the way and I did nothing to help?
I was a chicken.
Remember that? And so he happily ordered his brother's bride's sister to be tied to 24 horses and torn to bits.
What?
So none of her was left. Because she rolled that apple and she tricked him, Max. Obviously, she's a troll. And then they began to plan their own wedding. The end. They all You have to tell them what you're doing. They cannot see you.
I don't even know.
She's just like frozen with a giant smile on her face and her eyes look crazy. Huh? You don't like the ending?
Why?
All right, so here's a note.
I have a lot of notes. You can't just do murder. I don't care who you are. Just because you made a bad choice and you forgot about a woman because you saw an apple.
You saw an apple. And then a woman got torn to bits. So this version of the story was collected by our dear friends Peter Christian Bjornsson and Jorgen Moe. Yeah, I'm good at this. Who collected most of the Norwegian tales we know. However, the tale itself is as old as time and untrackable, according to Andrew Lang. The story was included in Joseph Jacobs' book Europa's Fairy Tales, and Jacobs wrote that it was, quote, one of the oldest and widest spread tales of the world, since the story as a whole is found spread from America to Samoa, from India to Scotland. They were like, we have seen this story in literally every single country we have tried, like we've investigated and collected stories from. Everybody has this story. Like, and there's bits of the story in everything, and they think that this is where it came from. But they don't know.
Yeah, that feels like a correlation versus causation to me. Where
it definitely could, you know. But even Andrew Lang wrote about it. He wrote this collection of essays called Myth and Custom, and there's one called A Far-Traveled Tale that goes further into this tale type. And Andrew Lang says that we have no idea where it originates from or what the purpose of it is. And he compares it to myths like Kronos defeating his father, you know, like, if you guys don't know that, in Greek mythology, Uranus goes to, like, fuck his wife Gaia, and his children are trapped inside of her, so when his penis enters her, Kronos cuts it off with an adamantine sickle, and then they all burst forth.
Adamantium?
Adamantine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it says. That's what the...
Adamantium is what Wolverine's claws are made.
He releases his Wolverine claws. No, adamantine. So... this basically is like how the earth and the sky got separated, basically. Like, they call it a nature myth. And so Andrew Lang is like, that tale has a purpose. It makes sense why that tale, you would see it in multiple cultures, is because every culture in, like, early civilization was, like, trying to explain, why is there sky? Why is there an earth? Why do we have earthquakes? Why do we have this stuff? You know, like, there's a way to explain it. And you can track kind of how people were thinking when they were making, like, when they were creating these myths. But this tale type doesn't do anyone any good, and it's repeated everywhere all the time, and no one knows why. It is classified as ATU type 313, which is the magic flight, because they escape over the ocean. And a myth that is often compared to this is Jason and Medea, who also escape via ocean, and then she goes on to kill her babies. But don't worry about that. And I am Team Medea, weirdly. I guess it's not weirdly. I'm Team Medea. I'm hashtag on her side.
Is that a hashtag?
It is now. So, but yeah, that's just kind of like it is, I think you're right that you can't really say that, but also Andrew Lang wrote in that essay, I've included the essay in the source notes, but he writes in the essay, like, you really can't track this one, and lots of scholars have tried, and they do think that this Master-Maid story is like the origin of all the other ones, but they have no idea. There's no way to really track where it comes from.
Intéressant.
But that's the Master-Maid. A weird one and a long one.
A weird one and a long one and a good one. I had a great time.
Me too. Guys, please hang out with us on Instagram and Twitter.
Come hang out with us.
And TikTok.
We're bored.
We're lonely. Join the Discord by joining the Patreon. And let us know what you thought. Yeah. Did you like a longer episode? Don't get used to it.
We're so tired now.
We're exhausted. And we hope you have the best day. Please rate and review us on Amazon. No. We're not on Amazon.
No, you can't.
If you could do that, we would be surprised. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Everything helps. And have a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I saw a thing on Instagram that said I'm moving on from the worm.
Guy Fiormi.
Guy Fiormi. Gordon Wormsy.
Oh.
Cooking names work.
Joseph Worman-Levitt.
That's not a cooking one.
I know.
Wormadine.
That's really good. The Barefoot Wormtessa.
Yes. The Wormfoot Wormtessa. Oh, Wormfoot is a cute name for a gross character.
Did you know that if your animal has, for example, roundworms, and you walk around on the grass where they have pooped, sometimes the roundworms will stick on your skin and give you a big old rash.
Yeah, that's how you get, that's, for the longest time, I thought that's the only way you could get ringworm, was from walking barefoot in the grass. Notice that I've never walked barefoot outside. That's why.
Nobody told me.
I am so sorry. I always thought that you were really weird for walking barefoot outside, only because of all the wolf spiders that run around in your Georgia.
Yeah, but
you always said, like, I don't care. And I was like,
here's
that's
the logic.
Brave of you.
Here's the logic for me, because I'm terrified of spiders. If a spider climbed on my bare foot, I kick my foot and it flies off, right? If I'm wearing a shoe, like, for example, like some sort of flat or something, and a spider crawls across my foot, then it could get into my shoe, and then I wouldn't be able to get it out as easily as just kicking my foot.
Thank you for giving me an example of a type of shoe. I wasn't sure.
I mean, like a sandal, right?
Or like a boot, perhaps.
A sneaker.
Imagine like a tasteful tenny.
Picture for me,
okay,
an open toe heel pair of pumps with an ankle strap.
Well, I don't know.
A spider can get in there.
I don't know about you all, but I am rock hard. Join us on Patreon for pics of those shoes. And perhaps some feet in them.
And some spiders in the feet.
Spiders wearing kitten heels with straps.